fighting.
So, okay, Ron. I mean, overall, what do you see positive in what the program was saying yesterday?
One of the five is the killers, isn't it? But as the police said about their home, have that picture showing, right? You don't think driver, like as a friend was explaining to me why he was waiting for you to check me. And he said we're in Elton there, it's a tight community. The police know everybody and everybody know the police. Just like how the bug, one of the really blokes them performing the martial art and doing this and that. Why did they bug a few more houses in the vicinity and come up with that same response what they showed last night? And the artful part is when Stephen Mother give a press conference and she said she gave the police a few names in a bit of paper and he screwed it up. You know, I mean, they don't care. But I just wait to see what London Town have to say about that incident. I think you should concentrate the program more on Stephen Lawrence this morning with due respect to you, driver.
You know, it's a, well, you know, what can I say, Ron? I mean, obviously it's an issue which I'm sure London Town has, you know, their viewpoints to put across. Also,
it's a deep issue.
It is a deep issue, but you know, at the same time, we've still got to deal with a couple of other issues that's going in and around our very own capital. You know, we've got to think about the parents that's out there that need that they can learn lessons from things that have taken place, like the Stephen Lawrence thing. You know, how do we combat it differently? Plus, you know, you've got a single parent out there and you know, she's thinking, well, boy, this might happen to my son or daughter. You know, we've got to look at the wider aspect of this thing, not just, I mean, all right, everyone's going to phone in, they're going to voice their opinion. That's no problem, because at the same time, like I said, I saw the program, and from what I got to understand, if this was correct, that film was only halfway in the making.
Yeah, well, the Mail paper said that name the five, and if you think I'm wrong, sue me, right? They said they're going to sue the Mail, and yet the solicitor said they're going to sue, right? They don't have the money. Well, they have the National Front, which I believe these five guys belong to that someone in these organizations. Why they don't back them? But one of those five killed Lawrence, you know.
But there's a legal argument to that as well, because they have a case, but the probability of that case actually succeeding is more against them. I mean, if you've been following the news this week, because basically what I want to talk about this week on this week's show is the news, because we've had quite a few news in this week, and this week a lot of things have happened, yeah? And so, going back to what you were saying before, they had a legal expert on there, a libel expert, and said, well, yeah, you know, they've got a case, but the probability of them actually making it stick and gain anything out of it, it's not really in their favor. So, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't look likely that they might actually go out and sue.
They can, because they know one of them is the killer. And you don't think I'm right to ask you that when the bug and have them performing the movement in the room, you don't think the police should have bugged a few more houses down the line and come up with the same response? Probably they get something.
Well, you see, Ron, even that in itself, I mean, that has been in the news this week. The police having the powers, are more of a continuation of the powers that they had previously, but now they have to go through a certain procedure, but they still can go out there and, you know, just plant a bug in a person's house or on their phone or in a doctor's surgery. But the thing is, they're supposed to seek high authority when it comes to, you know, places like a doctor's surgery. But the sheer fact that they've got the power to go out there and they say, well, if there is a serious crime.
This is murder, not.
Yeah, I know this is definitely murder. So, you know, it's something which, before this bill was even put in place, from when it happened, is something that they should have taken upon themselves. That, you know, they've got the grounds to do that.
Yeah, but was a black man.
Yeah, you see, that's another point as well.
You see, driver, don't want we get too deep. All right, I come off now.
No, I mean, I'm saying, finish what you're saying, Ron. You know, cause
no, because when it suits them, right? Look the boy who got killed in King's Cross there, the white boy. How fast to find that? They find someone and make it stick, as they usually use the term, stick. Right? They find somebody fast, but he's a black boy. They don't care, you know. I don't care what nobody wants to say. It's reaching me in the face here now, and we got to do something, because it's going to get worse. And I believe in the whole eye for eye and a tooth for tooth. And unless, listen, let somebody else, because...
All right, Ron. All right, enough respect. Okay, London Town, 0956407515. Like I said, we're going to take the issues of last week and what last week meant to those who ain't, you know, into the news. For example, Friday the 14th, if it wasn't your birthday, it was just any other day, but to enough of the women out there, it was Valentine's Day. You know, what we also want to know is what it meant for you, because apparently I've been told that there's quite a few women out there who didn't get no cards. Well, what did that mean to you? You know, also we're talking about the whole concept of it also, you know, how it's being used, not just by those who we are tending to follow, but, you know, in our own community. Like, for example, like, you know, a guy will go to a dance and, you know, he'll buy a few roses and he'll say to a friend, go and give one of them roses to that girl over there. You know, it seems a bit, but when you think about it, there's quite a few women who's falling into that trap. I mean, I'm directly looking to blow up some of them brothers today, you know, to say, well, look, you know, brothers, ain't right. Okay, 0956407515. This week, boy, I'm telling you, what a week. Like I said, we've had the trial of the boys to do with the Stephen Lawrence case and the outcome of that. Also, the crime bill, the bugging bill that has gone through. And also, like I'm talking about Valentine's, also holidays. We've got to definitely bring this up because, you know, the children on holiday, so, you know, parents, we've got to be more vigilant and look out for them. What, any ideas of what you've got lined up for your child during this short holiday? Was it a week? Yeah, it's a week, Bubbly Jet? A week. Anyway, it's a week, and what you've got lined up for your child for the week, and if you can put any more ideas across the London town for those who haven't got any ideas, okay? Right, we're going to take this call. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? We seem to have lost that call. 0956407515. You're in tune to myself, the driver, also the Bubbling D still in the studio, and this is the People's Talk Show. Hello. Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Hello.
For the black community.
Hello, brethren.
Basically, that this crime could have been committed.
Yo, brethren. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Sorry.
I can't hear you on the phone.
Hello. Can you hear me?
In the next room on radio, but I can't hear you on the phone.
Right. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hello.
All right. Hello. All right. If you're having problems, you might have to turn your radio up just a little bit. Yeah, brethren, can do me a favor. Can you phone back again? Because you seem to be breaking up.
Okay then.
Yeah?
Okay then.
All right. Peace. Okay, London Town, 0956407515. What you can do is when you phone in, just turn your radio up just a little bit while we sort out this microphone. Okay, that last caller, just waiting for that last caller to phone back.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, I can't hear you on the phone. I can hear you on the radio.
Okay then.
Yeah, so we're going to have to do it like that.
All right then.
Yeah? All right. What I wanted to say to you was that of all the events this week, the Stephen Lawrence event takes full precedent, really, over anything Valentine's or anything else, really, that could be happening. You get what I mean? So I think that really is the most important thing, and that's what I wanted to call you and talk to you about.
Well,
Yeah,
you,
because
yeah, you can talk. You can talk to me about that, but at the same time, we still have to look on a wider scale. Because if we focus on one specific thing, and especially at the end of the day, the mass of us, other than the support that we're giving, we can't do any more than that. We've still got to face the other problems and things that's going on in and around our own community.
Yeah.
After the show's finished. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But to me, like, for the Lawrence family, I think that they would like to hear that a lot of people aren't having what happened. You get what I mean? A lot of people, they're just not really having that, because that's a lot of rubbish, really and truly. You know what I mean? Everybody knows who the killers are. Everybody knows. You know what I mean? And like, the killers aren't even trying to say, they're not trying to plead the opposite. They're just not pleading anything. They're just hiding behind the law. They're just hiding behind everything. Second, please. They're just hiding behind everything, right? The law, the loopholes in the law, the police aren't that concerned. I mean, come on, face it. The police aren't that concerned. And no one can speak otherwise. You know what I mean? The police took too long initially. At first, their first approach was to probe Stephen to see if he was a gang member or if his family was involved in some kind of gang-related business. That was their first initial approach, which is the approach they take to me and people like me when they meet me on the street. Obviously, I'm doing something wrong. Obviously, I'm doing something illegal. You understand what I mean?
To me, that comes under the title of a serious crime. And going back to the point that when I was talking to Ron earlier about the bugging law, which they've got, they had the powers. If there is a serious crime being taken place, they have the power to, tap a person's phone or bug a person's yard. I'm saying from when this took place, I am sure that they could have come up with a lot more since then, and what happened during the week would not have happened.
Of course, and I agree. I must say, I agree with the caller you had earlier. Who, the way he's seeing it, he's not having it. It's an eye for an eye. That's the time we're living in. You get what I mean? It's an eye for eye. We can't just allow this kind of foolishness to be going on and continuing. From my father come to this country, he used to get catch up in Labrador Grove with the Teddy boys and them thing there. From he first come here, he showed me what it was like for him. He's out there. Teddy boys coming wielding bicycle chain and thing. When the police turn up, it's the black people they're arresting. You get me? And from him to then see me grow up and go through the same thing. I have a child. I'm going to watch him grow up. I've had enough of this. You get what I mean? I've had enough of this. 5 men kill a man. They kill you on street. Right? They're not pleading opposite. They have no defense. It's not like they're defending and contesting like the King's Cross thing with the Indian boys them. They have a case. You get what I mean? They're appealing what's going on. They have a case. These boys ain't got no case. These boys just out and out murder this boy on street. Yeah, they're getting on like they think they're bad boys or something. I don't know what they think. I don't know what they think they're getting on with. Right? But the law isn't interested. And that's why I must say on the radio, I respect the Daily Mail. Black man who I see reading the Sun, a newspaper like the Sun. You understand? It seems like their mentality is small. But the Daily Mail, I must stress on the radio, the Daily Mail is the only newspaper that has made a stand like that for black people. Not even our own voice has put itself in such a position like the Daily Mail to come out and say, these are the murderers. Yeah, the world is for you to know. These are the murderers. Yeah, and if the murderers don't like it, well, come and sue me. You get what I mean? And that's what I want to say that on the air. Respect the Daily Mail, you get me? Because even our own voice newspaper, the Black Nation, nobody else ain't made that stand. You know what I mean? And that's, to me, this whole situation is just bunning me. It's just bunning me. Every day it's just bunning me. You get me? How these boys can be bopping on street 4 years later. Nothing now gone. Nothing now go on. Inquest come. They're pleading. They ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? They ain't got nothing to say. They ain't got nothing to say, and they can get away with that.
So how can we ensure that such things like this don't take place again?
I think it's for black people to make a stand, right? As in any demonstrations, any marches, any protests that are going on, for people to forget about jungle, forget about raving, forget about all them things there. Because the reason I say that is when you have a jungle dance, you can have about 3,000 people in the place. When it comes to a march or a demonstration, it's a couple hundred people turn up. You understand? It's a couple hundred black people turn up and white people turn up. But black people, it's like we don't go out and stand up for ourselves and say, we're not having this no more. We're not having this no more. You get me? And that's what I think is time for us to do. Because when we start doing that, if you have a full jungle-raised population of people at a demonstration, right, or a rag-a-rave of people at a demonstration, I'm telling you, the country will take note. The police will say to them, so they have to do something. Because if they don't do something, they can see trouble is going to spill, right? And they're going to have to take note. And that's what I see black people have to do. We have to start standing together. That's what it's all about. And that's what we do not do. We have never done. You get me? We're too interested in getting on with our daily lives ourselves, making the money and doing this, doing that. You understand? But the matters that count, it would seem that we do not make a stand for ourselves. And it's until we learn to unite. United we stand, and divided we will always fall. You get me?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I want to stress to my black brethren out there who are listening to this. You get me? Especially the man them. You know what I mean? Because it's only make stand. You get me? That saying is the old saying, and it's one of the most true sayings up to today. Divided you will always fall. You get me? You will always fall. We know the police force is racist. Nobody can tell me opposite to the police force is racist. I know the police force is close to the bone. You get me? But you see, they will only do what they feel they have to do. And when they realize that black people ain't having this foolishness no more, this has gone on way too long. You get me? A young boy, 18 years old, his whole life ahead of him. And what? He loses his life at a bus stop. That's absolute rubbish. That's absolute rubbish. You get me? We're not talking about he was robbed at a bus stop or, you know what I mean? He had a car crash at the bus stop or he was murdered. The boy loses his life. His family lost a son. 18 years they've reared that boy and shared experiences with that boy and bam, he's gone. You get me? It's for us to make a stand, Virgin. And that's what I feel say. You see shows like this show, you could stress the people out there. These are the things that matter. These are the things that are important. You get me? Because if we're going to have children in this country, if we're going to continue living in this country, we have to make it right for ourselves and for our kids and for their kids. We can't remain at the bottom and stay at the bottom and we're going to live all our life and existence at the bottom. You get me? And our future generations have to stay at the bottom and be taking this kind of rubbish. You get me? We can't be having this. And it's time for us to make a stand. It's time for us to make a stand up and be counted. It's time. You know what I mean? In fact, it's well overdue. The time is well overdue, but better late than never. That's how I see it. You get me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Let's just hope that we can definitely gain something positive, and at the end of the day, if we, bring them to justice and them get what them deserve, at least we know there's a story we can tell our children and our grandchildren that they're what? This did happen, but at the end of the day, we'll come together and we'll make a difference. All right, brother?
All right, then, my brother.
Enough respect for your call still, yeah?
All right.
All right, peace. Okay, London Town, 0956-407-515 gets you through and across London Town. We've had a couple of callers already, and boy, may I tell you, said, what took place in the week, it was definitely, because I know enough people were saying, boy, couldn't comprehend what's taking place. All right, we're going to take this call. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Sandra from Peckham. I just want to say I totally agree with the last caller 100%, about the black people, how they love to go dances and all the rest of it, but when it comes to protesting about the murders of black people, they're not interested. Now, also, I want to speak about Genesis. Now, Genesis is supposed to be, I'm not saying that you haven't, I sent a letter to you, yeah? I sent a letter to Daddy Cooley, yeah, it's about the death of, Oscar Oakley, yeah? And I've asked him if he could get the DJs to tell people when the marches is. I don't know whether he's got the letter, but I assume he's got a letter because it's been over a week. You know, and I would have
I've
thought
not
that.
received it, and to tell you the I'll be straight with you.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
not been down to the centre to have a look and pick up any mail.
Right, well, Briggy knows about it because Andy Morris, yeah? He's
Right.
supposed to be in your studio tonight. But
Yeah.
yesterday, we found out that he was trying to get hold of Briggy. Briggy's phone was off, you know. He did. I don't know whether he sorted it out with Briggy or not, but the point is, you know, he knows about there's going to be a march on the rest of it, and I don't hear Genesis Radio advertising when the march is going to be, you know, for the support and everything. So I don't believe that Genesis is doing their job as a community radio station. I really don't. It's like we've got a community for the people up in Brixton. There's an advert on. I've heard the advert about 3 times, you know. There's halls going, there's things for the community to be done, and I don't hear no advertisement for it. I've heard it about 3 times, you know.
Well, for myself, I can only tell you, Sandra, that I've not received the information, and I can put that down to me not having to go, not having been down to the centre and actually picked up any of the mail. So as far as I'm concerned,
Right, well, can I give you, because I don't know if Andy's going to be in the studio tonight. I'm hoping he will be. But if I can give you just a little bit of the details, so that hopefully that, you know, we want to have a march here down to Brixton, yeah? They want to set up, they're planning a meeting, yeah? And the meeting's going to be on Friday the 28th of February, yeah? And that's going to be at Brixton Town Hall at 7:30. Now, we want to get as many black people as possible to get down there, because we want to get hundreds, thousands of black people to come and march down to 10 Downing Street to say that we're not taking it no more as black people. Because as I said, on the TV yesterday, how they were, you know, hyping up how the white boys stab up Stephen Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? The man said that he would do it again on national TV. Now, from he said that, they should be arresting him and that boy should have been in prison. You know what I'm saying? If a black man had said them words, I guarantee you, he'd be behind bars now. You understand what I'm saying? So what are we, as a black people, going to be doing for Stephen Lawrence and for this man? We have to march and we have to show our protest. That's what I believe in anyway. Yeah?
so you want to give out those details again, Sandra?
Yeah, they're planning for the support meeting, yeah? It's going to be on Friday the 28th of February. And that's going to be at Brixton Town Hall.
Okay.
You know, I would like it to be pumped sort of like, you know, all day, basically. So the more, you know what I'm saying, black people are too ready to go out and enjoy themselves. As I said, if I got one thing to say to them black people, what if it was you or your child? Would you not like black people to support you? So what are we doing? You know, it's about time we show these people we're not taking it no more. So I say, all the black people that are listening to Genesis today, if none of them turn up at the town hall, as far as I'm concerned, they're nothing. They're not talking about, no, they don't care about the community, because I know for a fact, I'm 100%, I'm going to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Right, Sandra, what time's the meeting and where they and it's a march from there?
No, that's just
Right.
for the planning. As I said, you know what I'm
They're
saying?
planning the march, so-
Andy Morris is supposed to be coming into your studio, so if the march, because it just says Brixton to Downing Street, yes, Sunday the 9th, yes, the march, they want the march to be Sunday the 9th, yeah?
The 9th of
March 97, yeah? But the meeting for the planning of it, yeah, is on the 28th of February.
Okay, Sanj. What
Yeah,
I'll do is
and I would-
yeah, go on.
And I would also like Genesis to play the advert, you know, for up Brixton, yeah? It's Donovan, he's running the advert with you.
What advert is that?
It's I'll have to get back to you on that, but it's an advert. He's put an advert in, yeah.
Well, if he's put an advert in, well, it must be amongst the adverts that I've got here.
But
I'm
I
sure
don't hear it being played, and I listen to Genesis maybe 24 hours a day. You know, so when it's on, I'm listening to you, regardless if I'm phoning or not. I'm always listening. I don't listen to any other radio station.
That's
And
good,
if Genesis
Sandra.
isn't on.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't hear my voice, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm not listening. I'm always listening. You know, Genesis is my station. I expect to hear. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to hear the advert. You know,
Okay.
so that people know that there is facilities that can be used. Yeah? You know, if people have got ideas that they want to do things in a hall, there's a hall waiting to be used for the public. So long as it's for the public, yeah, it can be used. You know what I'm saying? There's things out there and it's just not being known about. Okay, that's what I wanted to say, yeah?
All right then, Sanj.
Okay,
I'll
thanks a
definitely
lot.
I've made a note
If you
of.
can-
I've made a note of it, so I've got our community information board right here. So I'll put it on there so the presenters can actually read it out themselves.
Great.
Yeah.
Well appreciated.
All right, no problem, Sanj.
Okay then.
Peace.
All right, later.
Okay, London Town, 0956 407 515. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, driver is Brenda, yeah, from Deptford.
All right, Brenda.
Firstly, the march for the Oscar Oakley, the tanning support meeting the time is going to be at 7:30
Right.
p.m. at Brixton Town Hall, yeah.
Okay.
Also, what she was talking about, Sandra's talking about Donovan. There's an ad for a Saturday school for the January Band Centre, and that ain't being played as well either, hardly on Genesis.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
And also, what I want to say, right, is that when are we, black people, are going to stop talking about what we're going to do and start doing it, right? Because I'm just sick of this, you know what I'm saying? We're always doing Genesis, just talking, and not doing nothing. We've got to see, I'm sorry if I'm being negative here, right, but we've got the people's faces of who done Stephen Lawrence, right? Why don't we go and hunt them down? Oh, how many other black people are we going to let, get killed? And that's why I just said, Tess, it was your brother. Because I know for a fact, right, that if it's my brother, I'm doing life. Right? I'm hunting them down and I'm killing them. Right? I'm sorry I'm being negative there, but that's how I feel, man. Because we as black people, now, we're powerful. We can't just let stupid arsehole people coming back. They're going to come and kill us off like that.
Well, you see, at the end of the day, if we have unity in our community, such things like this can't take place.
Man.
Well, that's right. So what we've got to do, that is what we've got to sort out. Come together. We've got to move as one.
Yeah, but listen, we're waiting for us, all people, to have unity, right? The people who say that they're going to come together, let them come, right? And the people who don't want to, well, just forget them, right? Just all we need now is all the people who's going to come with us on this, right? And just get together and just do it. Because personally, I'm not into now, right, going things through law, right? I'm going to, what I deal with, right, okay, right, I don't care. I will get up, see like the marches, I will hunt these people down, an eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth, and I will kill, sorry, I won't say that, right, but I will do the same thing what they've done to Stephen Lawrence, man, because I'm taking out that it's my brother, you know what I'm saying?
That's
right?
right.
Or
Well,
my nephew that they're dealing with.
It's like what I'm saying. You said right. We shouldn't be waiting around. Let me tell you from now, for us to come together as a community. Notice I said the word "come," so that means that it's you of your own will coming. You get me? I'm not waiting on anyone. I'm just doing what I'm doing, and as I go through my daily routine, people come to me and we link. That is how it works. So we've got to start. But once we've got the will to say, here what? We decide we're going to go into that direction. Don't just think about it. Go through it.
For real.
We have to. We have to try out all the outlets that we've got. And when those don't work, then let the powers be what they're going to be from what takes place. But at least we know that we've tried, and no one can't turn around and hold us. When we look back in history, they can't say that we didn't try. And at the moment, we're not trying.
Real. I want to see how many people, because this is about the police custody, right? Oscar Oakley, yeah? For Brian Douglas, when Andy was doing the demonstration out there, yeah? This is how black people stay. There was only 200 people there, if that. You know what I'm saying, right? This one here now, the Oscar Oakley, okay? If there's less than 200 people, then you might as well forget it. You know what I'm saying? Because the police and everybody is going to be laughing at us, man. But all I'm saying, let's see how many people are going to turn up at this Brixton Town Hall meeting on 7:30, Friday the 28th, man. They're also saying that they need banners. Yeah, they need banners, placards, speakers, and stewards. Right? And I'm going to be there. I know Sandra's going to be there. I know other few people's going to be there. Let me see how many people who's ready and true, you know what I'm saying, is going to be there, man. Take it out as if it's your brother. Man, because I've got a big poster here, yeah, and I gave Biggie one of these to put up in the studio. So you can't say they ain't got it there because it's still, I gave it to him when I was down PMA. So there is information out on that. And anyway, I'm going, because I'm just mad, yeah?
Okay, Brenda.
Later on, Jack, man.
All right, peace. Okay, London Town. 0956 407 515. Good morning, caller. Yeah, good morning, caller. What's the name we're calling from?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, just a moment, please. Yes, good morning. I've just been listening to the program and to the things that especially some of the young people are saying. And it is important for us to actually get together, and many people are doing things.
Sorry, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Be careful.
Hello?
Don't make a bad situation worse by actually taking certain course of action. I think we need to campaign, we need to rally, and our voice has to be strong in order that these people know they can't just treat us like this and get away with it. And also there's evidence that the law is often not on our side. But whenever we do things, they're quite eager to actually arrest us. And, there's so many young people in trouble and being, in the prison system. So through our community leaders, through our actions, let's plan and do things in a way that we don't end up, our young people don't end up being in so much trouble themselves that makes a bad situation worse. I think if we plan and if we act together, we can actually do something more positive. But, the young people have to keep calm in a way so that, they themselves don't, because we can see when the system is against us, they will use whatever means, whatever power they have to get at us. But we need to plan in a strategic way. And that's really all I'm saying. And, I'll be there to support the march. And I've always been there supporting various things with young people. But I just want to say out there, it's not about sitting back and letting things happen. We have to plan. But don't make a bad situation worse by you yourself ending up in jail or talking about things that you're going to do, which means that it can be used against you. Let's do this in a quiet way within our community and plan. We don't have to let other people who are trying to stop what we're doing. Okay.
Oh, sorry, sister, I didn't get where you was calling from. Oh, all right, we lost that caller. Anyway, but valid points anyway. Okay, London Town, 0956 407 515. Oh, we seem to have lost that caller. Oh,
Hello?
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 Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you at all.
All right, just turn your radio up just a little bit.
I've got it up now.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah?
Yeah, it's up a little bit.
Okay, good morning, and what's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Adelaide from Wandsworth Road.
Okay, Adelaide.
I'm listening to all the callers. I agree with most of them, apart from the young lady second last. Don't go out there and do nothing to the people that kill anyone, because the police are ready to pick you up. Right? They're more eager, like the woman said last, they're more eager to put us in prison. If anybody does something to one of my, well, I've only got one child and he's only 4 months, but I fear for his life. If anyone does something to him, I'll have to go out there and do some campaigning and stuff. I'm going to go down to the town hall, and I hope whoever's organising it does a good job, and I sympathise with who organises it, because it costs money. And at least if I could put £1 in, I'll put £1 in, because I ain't got a lot of money, but I know these things, posters and advertising. And another thing, right, a lot of these black people that own company, I ain't going to mention no name, that can help the situation and publicise it, they want money for it. And listen, if you own something, don't ask for money for things like this. If you know that you can help, don't ask for money, okay? Because it's a good cause. And if we try and sort it out now, it might just work. I shouldn't even say it might just work. It will work. You get me?
Okay, then, sis.
Like, people shouldn't ask for money. And I'm holding a party. I'm going to make sure the DJs keep crossing it over the party. You know, the people who organise it know people love to rave. Go to those who DJ. Go to those on the mic who you know is going to be in the mic, and tell them to keep saying that there's going to be a march. You know people's going to rave. You know people's going to listen. All the stations have to get onto it and start telling people when these things are happening. Because I don't hear about these things. It's only because I decided to tune in today, put on my radio. and I hear that the march is going to be on. I don't usually hear about these things, but if, you know, the more publicity we get, the more people can come down if they want to come.
All right then, sis. Yeah.
I'm out.
All right, enough respect for that call still, yeah? All right, peace. Okay, London Town, 0956 407 515. And all right, London Town, because we know, you know, everybody feels strongly about what's taking place. And, you know, it's a case of, you know, what to do now. You know, but like the caller said, we've got to be calm and deal with this thing right. All right, we're going to take this call. Hello? Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello,
Yeah.
it's Claudette here.
Hello, Claudette.
Yeah, I'm from North London, and as far as I'm concerned, we know the police system fails us. At the end of the day, they knew those guys were guilty, and at the end of the day, they got away, right? As far as I'm concerned, black people need to take things into their own hands. Going on a march ain't going to do nothing. As far as I'm concerned, I would have got a hitman and just dust them out. That's what I've done.
Yes,
right?
yeah,
At the
but
end of the
sister,
day,
sis,
Yeah.
hear what I'm saying to you? Come on, let's be real now. I mean, that's a
what do
bit...
you mean be real?
All right, hear what I'm saying to you.
I mean, what's
No,
happening
hear what
now?
I'm saying
Those
to
guys
you.
have got
No,
away.
hear what I'm saying to you. Right, at the end of the day, the first things first, right, how you're talking, right, remember, you're outside. Now,
Yeah.
just imagine, don't you think certain, not to say that it's not possible, but obviously somebody in and around their own family would have thought of something like that, but they said no because
Yeah,
they want to do it they want to do it the right way. And now they're going through and they're showing the failures in the British justice system. And at the same time, they're still trying to bring their killers, the killers of their son, to justice. Now, and, you know,
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're not going to get no justice, are we? We've seen that time and time again. It doesn't work.
yeah, but if you're gonna turn around and say, come on the radio now and say to London Town, hear what? As far as
Yeah.
you're concerned, you think
Yeah.
marches are a waste of time. I mean, how do you think the rest of London Town's gonna think and say, no, hear what? I've been going to marches for X amount of years, and I've been to X amount of marches, which have made a difference in the end. So how do you think they're gonna feel to hear you come on the radio and say that?
Yeah, but has it made a difference? Has it made a difference?
For those who
Yes
have been
or
on the
no?
for those who have been on the marches and have
Has
felt
it-
that their presence was made, yes, it makes a difference.
It has, but what is it? What has it proved? Has it changed the system? Has it changed the legal system in any way? Has it done that?
No, but they've got their voice heard.
Yeah, and what has it proved?
What has it proved?
Yeah, what has changed?
For them, like I said to you, they got their voice heard. I mean,
Yes,
I'm
and
talking on different sets of people who've gone out there and they've been on various marches.
Yes.
Yeah? Those are the sort of people I'm talking about and have actually seen some good come out of what they've done at the end of the day. It's like, you know, campaigning. It's like you're saying to me that campaigning don't work. That's what a march is, a form of campaign,
It's
you
a
know.
campaign, and how long have we been doing it? We've been doing it from the 50s, the 60s, and those campaigns hasn't changed no laws. The laws need to be changed to enable people to get a fair deal. And what the police have shown, right, that, you know, they're not doing it. They're not interested, right? Because we know if it was some black guys that killed a white guy, they would have got anybody. They would have got a scapegoat to make sure that someone went down. Just like PC Blakelock, right? They made sure they got somebody, they didn't care who it was, and after all those years, what happened? They had to let Winston Silcott out and pay him money on top of it. Because what? They were wrong. So they don't care. So they don't care about us.
All right, let me
They're
ask you
gonna
a
kill
question.
50
All
of us.
right, sis, let me ask you a question, right? If you're saying to me that it don't work, all right, let me put you this way. If we didn't march from as early as we've been marching, how much more of us do you think would have died already?
You mean a march? What does a march
No,
prove?
I'm just saying to you. You're saying it doesn't prove anything, but I'm saying to you, every time you march and you move in a force, it's letting those who need to know that certain things that's been going on, they can't expect those things to continue and we not do anything about it. Because at the end of the day, they don't want, listen, the last thing that they want seen is a big all-out war with black against white, because it'd be totally murder.
Right. And when was the last time that happened? Was it the Broadwater Farms riot? That's when the police came and saw that we wasn't joking, we've had enough. When that had to go that far, it wasn't a demonstration, it was an actual riot. Right? And that's what had to happen for them to realise that right now, you've gone too far this time. right? It wasn't a demonstration that done something about it. For them to say, okay, we're going to fix up the Borderwater Farm, we're going to try and improve police and community relations. It was a riot that done that. It wasn't a demonstration, right? And that, I mean, that was like positive action. We're going to do something. We've had enough. And that's what they push us to the brim every time. That's what they do to us. You have a demonstration, oh yeah, a couple hundred turns out. They said earlier, not even a lot of black people turn up at these things, right? They're not interested.
So then we have to change that, don't you feel?
Are they going to do it? You think people are going to do that? So when it affects you personally, right? And then there's some people who feel, yeah, I'm going to take part. Then they come in and then they take part in it.
Well, sister,
it's not working.
What I'm saying to you, at the end of the day, for me personally, there's no way I'm going to tell people that, hear what?
I'm not saying that you must tell them, because I'm telling you what I would do.
No, I know, I'm not, but I'm saying to you, at the end of the day, whether I'm on the radio or not, there's no way I'll be telling people that marches are a waste of time.
Fine, but you know, everyone's got their own point of view and how they want to do things. At the end of the day, 4 years that guy's died, and nothing has happened. For me, if nothing ever happens in the first year, nothing's going to happen again now. You know, 4 years later, that guy's dead. No one's been convicted. Those guys are still out there. They're free, and they've got videos to show that those guys. Right, what? If they do martial arts, whatever, they don't like black people, they're racist, they're still on the street.
Okay, sis.
All right?
Well, you know, your respect for your call still, yeah?
All right.
All right then, sis. Peace. Okay, London Town, 0956407515. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from, sis?
I'm Dio, and I'm from Orpington in Kent.
Okay.
And I'm telling Sandra and the other lady that on the 28th of February, 7:30 p.m., I will be there at Brixton Town Hall. Also, I went on the first Stephen Lawrence March, yeah? It was good to see the turnout, but it was also disappointing to see the young guys, what they did to Welling. They wrecked the place, okay? And that was sending a message to the nation that, yes, we are hooligans, we are thieves. And that's why we're disappointed. And that's why I'll be reluctant to go on for another march. But I will go anyway. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's good for us to unite. But also there is the bad ones who are going there to spoil things. And that's what I was disappointed about. Another point. That girl that just phoned up a minute ago, to me personally, you should have cut her off straight away. Because we don't need people like her. Do you understand? I go to jails, yeah? I visit friends, visit relatives. And you know how much young, nice, eligible black men are in jail. 4 out of 10 black men are in jail. If we take things into our own hands, can you imagine how much of us...
Well, that's what I said, sis. I said, you know, if we didn't march at all in all the years that we've been marching, how much more of us would have died already?
Exactly.
We wouldn't even be here. I mean, like the situation that, like, me on the pirate radio station, I wouldn't be here today. Because they would have suppressed us so much that the idea of even thinking about building up your own pirate radio station, it'd be like a sin.
Exactly. As I said, Malcolm X said something Marcus Garvey said something that, to this effect, black people ain't going to know the problem or see the problem until their back's against the wall. I think our backs are almost against the wall, and that's why we are united. We are united together compared to 10 years ago. And it is good. And also as well, black people have to realize that the Bible said, yeah, about King Harold and the boys, where he kill off all the boys. If they look at society today and look at the world today and look how many black people are in jail, it is exactly what they're doing. These devils are doing. They wanted to get us in jail and they wanted to lock us up and keep us away. Okay, so taking things into your own hands, forget that. You need positiveness on the air. You don't need that. As I said to Sandra, I'll be there. I live in Orpington, and I will be there to support Stephen Lawrence and his family. Okay?
Okay, then, sis.
Keep up the good work.
All right, enough respect for the call, yeah?
Okay, then, right, bye.
Peace. Okay, London Town. You know, that's what we want. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we want some... obviously, we know there's a few people out there directly stressed, but, you know, we have to be positive at the end of the day. Okay. Good afternoon, caller. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, driver. Construction.
Yes, construction.
And I'm hearing what's going on, and I'm telling the people then, right? Don't bother. Don't even bother. Because I remember I was on the march 4 years ago. in Thamesmead. And I remember we was ready to burn down that building. That's how ready we was. 4 years ago, we was ready to burn down the people building because of what they was dealing with, right? And the family them say, well, no. No, we deal it peacefully. It's peacefully. All this peaceful protest and all this lot, they went and done it peaceful. Wharton, they let the people off. All this is going on. Them police people are proud of them boys there. All the white people living well in all them areas are proud of them people there. Me now go no more march for them thing there. Because at the end of the day, them people, if they wanted them boys away, they'd have locked them away long time ago. If it was a black boy do it, he would get locked up from time. Truth or talk. Anyone want to go on march, go on march. But me now go no more because remember we was ready 4 years ago to deal with that. We was ready. And we was ready to deal with certain boy at that time. If them people want to deal with it on a little peaceful tip, go and do it. Because at the end of the day, they're laughing at us. Because they know, sir, it's for them country. They do what they want to do, and we ain't got no say. The only way they're going to listen to us is when we start dealing with them like how we used to deal with them and rough up a boy. That's simple as that. We used to do that before in the 60s and 70s. I remember enough time we used to fight white boy. White boy used to scare black boy. Remember them days? That's the only respect them have. When they meet fire with fire, that's the only respect them have.
All right.
Anyone want to go on march, go on march.
All right.
But at the end of the day, it ain't going to come back. It's only going to come back to the same thing. We have to rough up our boy. Simple.
All right, then, construction.
Yes,
All right, London Town. All right, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this once and once only, because I'm, enough respect for certain callers still, but hold a minute, I'm going to turn this off a minute. London Town has got nothing positive to turn around and say today on a People's Talk Show. Remember, there's families out there listening, right? Children out there listening. If you ain't got nothing positive to turn around and say, please, London Town, don't phone up and say, and come off with any negative vibes, because I've never had to cut no one off, but I will do it today, because I've come in here with a format, and I want people to put forward positive suggestions. All right, I know everybody feels a way differently, but Ilma said contain it differently. Right now, this is a platform for you to speak out to London Town. And right now, I don't want nobody raising up any form of war or anything like that through this station to turn around and say, yeah, me here at Pan Genesis, them I go to war, and Genesis ain't about that. We're here to give you information and let you deal with the information. If there's something out there that you disagree, then you voice that you disagree with it differently, but I don't want you to be kind of manipulating people's mind to make them think, this is what they've got to do. Give out positive information, correct information, not information that's going to take us back. All right, I'm going to open the phone line. Okay, 0956407515. And like I said, London Town, we want to move forward. You see, also another thing, people are talking about, I'm burned on this, son, burned on that. This is what you got to check to yourself. Do you see the Lawrence family burning down anything? No. When you go on the march, if you don't see someone who's directly you're marching for at the end of the day doing the sort of things that you're going to do, why are you there? You're supposed to be there in support of the people who, or the person in question who you are marching for, not for yourself. Okay, going to take this call. Yeah, good afternoon, caller. What's the name? Where are you calling from? Yeah.
Clarky from Hackney.
Okay, Clarky.
London. Yeah.
How do we sound over there, Clark?
Say again?
How do we sound over there?
Sound all right, man. I can hear you through the radio anyway.
All right. Peace. Go on.
Yeah. I grew up here from the late 50s up until now. And I can understand a lot of anger coming from a lot of the people there. The records say every man do his thing a little way different. Well, some people can do things peacefully and some people fight so they can't. Now, you look at people out there today and you say to yourself, black people have become, in a way, complacent. 60s and 70s, there were skinheads, You had all the different kind of people. You had your mods, you had your rockers, and black people were getting beaten up. And it doesn't matter how much peaceful marches people seem to go on. You know, it takes something like a Brixton riot, a Notting Hill riot, all the different kind of riots you have, Tottenham, yeah, before you get someone like a Lord Scarman giving all these kind of recommendations, saying this is what has to be done. And it don't get any better. Things don't get much better. You know, yeah, we have to move on in a positive way. I can understand what you're saying. But, you know, you've got to understand, as a majority of people out there, it's difficult. You know, West Indians are one of the smallest minority of immigrants in this country, yet we're having such a hard time.
All right, Clarky, let me ask you something, right? When it comes to riots and all that, if I'm trying to say, if it ain't something that is coming from the head, so to speak, in this case, it would be the Lawrence family. If they're not talking about that sort of action, why should we, if we're going out in support of them, take it upon ourselves to create that sort of action?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
See, that's the only way, me personally, that I would agree to something like that. If the persons in question, turn around and say, "Here, what? Enough is enough."
Yeah, enough is enough. But I'm going to go down to the Lawrence thing on a peaceful tip. Yeah, on a peaceful tip. I ain't going out there to nick up knives. You know, because you look at what happened down in Brixton when this black guy get killed. How much black man is it going to take to get killed in custody, right? And they riot. You're angry. Because people are, listen, you know, Scarman said this and that has to be done in Brixton. If they want to kill black men, they're where they want to kill black men. And the police are killing black men. You're getting white youths killing black men. I understand what you're saying on the Stephen Lawrence thing, and I feel sorry for him and his family. Because this is like, 30 years on, and the same kind of thing going on the streets. You know, I agree with a lot of the things that people on your station have been saying so far. But at the end of the day, right, I have to look after my kids. My kids born here, and I think to myself, right, they grow up in a society which is predominantly white. The rules here are white. You know, you have to move amongst the people then, and mostly white people. And most West Indians do. They don't feel so they have to be stuck in like how the Jewish them people live together, like how the Indian people them live together. Basically, the West Indians want to live which part they want to live. They want to live in peace. You know, all they want is a cut of what's going on in society. You know, why should we always have some sort of problems going on a black and white thing? I remember Eamon Andrews' show in the 70s. It wasn't until black men was fighting back, and you had to talk to the skinheads. What is it they say? Oh, we like their reggae music. You know, that all them kind of nonsense. You're just 30 years on almost. And you know, you're talking about 18-year-olds getting killed on the street, waiting for his bus at a bus stop. You know, his little brother there with him have to run off. You know, I've got a child now who's 20 this year. She's 20 this year. I've got another boy 14, another boy 11. What am I supposed to do? You know, they can't be around. I can't look after them 24 hours of the day. You know, I don't want them to go out there and say, yes, be careful, say when you're on the street. As a black person living in this country, when we go outside, if you have a nice car, you've got to say to yourself, yeah, I could be stopped any time by the police. Why? Because of the colour of my skin. And for no other reason. Certain parts of London, I can't go.
Well,
because
you know,
you've got people under that are racist. Parts of the country you can't go. You know, there's been things on television where a black man and a white man go to a pub up north somewhere. The black guy says, where's the toilet? They point the guy to a bucket in a corner. You know, all we want to do is live. You know, we're not asking a lot. We were invited here in the 50s by Enoch Powell. Enoch Powell, part of the government, invited West Indian people into this country to help build it up. And, you know, the same sort of things going on. You know, it's like, in them days it was what? No dogs, no Irish, no blacks. And you're saying, you know, how far have we moved on? How far have we moved on? That's the question I ask you. How far do you think we've moved on?
The question is, have we moved? You know, if we hadn't moved, then this debate would have more of a relevance. But obviously, things are moving as time goes on. All I'm saying at the end of the day is, all right, riots have definitely made our voices heard much more louder. But what I am saying at the end of the day, because of how times are moving and what's actually taking place in and around us, we have to move more positively and more constructively. And when we move, we have to move as a whole unit, not just breakaway sections like you go on a march and, you know, this little one section I got start smash couple windows and then instigate everybody else to go do the same thing. See, at the end of the day, you have to, when you do something like that, you have to get the maximum out of it. The maximum. It don't make sense getting peace and then at the end of the day, it gets condemned in such a way to make it seem as if, yeah, you know, even though they're going to turn around and say we're a bad lot anyway, give them a direct reason to say, well, look, here what? They wiped out the whole of this place.
Well,
Why?
in Brixton, it took Lord Scarman to go down there and the Scarman report. That's what happened. That's what happened in the Brixton riot.
All I'm saying is that at the end of the day, we have to move with the consent of the family.
Oh, I agree with you on that point.
That's what I'm saying. That's
point.
why I said, if I'm not saying that this is something I'm saying the family should consider, because I don't want nobody to go out there and quote me differently. I'm saying if the family said, here what, enough is enough, and X amount of meetings was held about the place, and the consensus was as one, then I'm saying, yes, we move, because we're moving as a unit.
Yeah.
We're moving in a strong force. So when we move, we're tearing down the place, and they know, here what, we've definitely had enough, and this is just a taste of what's to come. Because here what, the way they're going to be thinking is, all right, today it's the shops, tomorrow it could be us.
Well, that's true.
And then what happens from there, it causes them to, you know what I mean? They have to concede to X amount of different things because they don't want an all-out race war. Trust me on that.
No, I know that. I know that. But you see, the thing is, right, you get youths grow up here in this country, right, and they say to themselves, right, you know, they go through school, a lot of them get good education, they go out there with their, side by side with their white counterparts, right, and all they get is racism stuck in their face. Racism stuck in their face. It starts from early. You've only got to look out there at what's going on. And I'm not being negative. I'm a black man out there doing my thing my way, yeah? Self-employed, doing what I'm doing, right? And that's the only, at the end of the day, to my kids, I've got to look and say to myself, right, it's not so much it's what you know, it's who you know, for them to get jobs in certain places. It shouldn't have to be like that. They should be given jobs on their merits of what they've done, of what they've achieved. You know, it all goes a long, long way. A long, long way. It's inbred in society, a lot of the stuff that goes on. You know, it shouldn't be that way. You know, you get invited here from what, the early 50s into this country. A lot of us grow up here, and we have to speak of the same sort of nonsense. You know, you can't walk the street because of the people, because of the police. That is a nonsense.
Well, you know, that's why, like I said, with the younger generation, I don't mind them moving around in a firm because, you know, like we've pointed out on the show already, to them it makes them feel safe and trust they look out for each other so that no one can take liberties with them differently, but it's just the way it's implemented.
Well,
but anyway...
True. Listen, on a last note.
Yeah, Clark.
On black crime, I hope they find the guy that shoot the 16-year-old in the club. Because that shouldn't happen.
Yeah. For real.
Peace, man.
All right, peace. Okay, London Town, Clarky there from Hackney region. Right. Boy, you know, because, you know, things have to be said. So, you know, I'm a man, I like to tell it as it is. Okay, good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon again. This might seem a little bit
again,
far-fetched.
sorry, was you the sister who called up earlier?
Yeah.
Right, where are you calling from, sis?
I'm from Kent.
Kent.
Right? This might seem far-fetched, right? Just had an idea. How about Genesis, Sandra, and also myself do what Farrakhan did, right, and call for 1 million, not 1 million men, 1 million people march. I know we're not going to get it, but we might get 3,000, might get 4,000. How about going for that, something like that? Not a bad idea.
The idea, I must admit, it has merit. It has merit, but, you know, it's, at the end of the day, like I said to you, Genesis, basically, we're information station. We can only put, we're like a, you know, in the middle. We put the people together who need to be together, yeah, and we let them deal with it that way. You see, it's not for Genesis to start turning around and saying, here, what, we're going to take, you know, this stance and commit ourselves to like something like what Minister Farrakhan done, because we're not moving in that way. Because
yeah, but it's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
Well,
I reckon what we'd have. Sorry.
That will frighten the nation. That will frighten the law and also all the members of parliament. That black people are calling together, 1 million of them. That's gonna frighten the hell out of them. It might not happen, but it might frighten them and it might take heed. Do you understand? So that could put across.
Yeah, well, no, it could definitely put across. It's definitely a point that will be raised. I can definitely guarantee that I will definitely raise that point. Okay then, sis.
Okay.
All right, enough respect for your call. Peace. Okay, London town. You know the number, you know the flex, so you know what time it is. Yeah, good afternoon, caller. What's the name? Where you calling from?
You're a coconut and a sellout.
All right. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, just to show how small-minded your mind is. Anyway. Yeah, good afternoon, caller. What's the name? Where you calling from?
From Peckham.
Yes, Sandra.
Yeah, I just want to go back on a few points now.
Yeah.
Right, people are saying that, is it worth marching? Right, let's go back 50 years, yeah, when they were stringing up us black people on trees, yeah?
Yeah.
What did we do? Did we not march, right? If we didn't march, things would still be in the same way.
That's
right?
what I said,
so
Sanj.
I'm trying to tell the people, right, if we, like, you've got Sunni Muslims, yeah? You've got all these little groups, right? They might not be together on their religions and all the rest of it, but I guarantee you we are all together on our people being murdered, right? If all them little groups come down, support, then look how much force we will be showing, yeah? Will we not be showing something?
Absolutely.
Right? As you said, whether people want to go on, do what they want to do, that's down to them. But as I said, we're thinking about the family and what the family wants, right? And as I said, some black people want to start reading socialist militant, yeah? Take a few points from them because them people know what's going on. Yeah, I understand they're totally against the government. They know what's going on, you know, I understand what I'm saying. But as I said, it's us who have to do it. You know what I'm saying? I can't understand why people are saying that we're not going to get nowhere. You know, it's rubbish. And we're not going to get nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get nowhere. You understand what I'm saying? It's down to us. We have to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's all them little groups. Show yourselves at the meeting, and I guarantee you things will go on. That's all I can say. It's going to take us to do it. Nobody's going to do it for us. Yeah, Brian, Java?
Yeah, absolutely, Sanj.
Okay, then.
All right, enough respect
all
for
right,
that.
Bye.
That's right, London town, we have to show our numbers in force. That's the only way we're going to make them know here what things is going on. And once certain things don't take place, then they know what's to come. Yeah. Good afternoon, caller. What's the name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Yes, my name's Wihim. I'm calling from Camberwell.
Okay.
Now, I do understand what a lot of people have said, starting with, well, I tuned in a bit late, starting with Claudette. We live in a society in which we, as a black people, are not being protected. Now, if we're not being protected, we are usually, whether it's a riot, whether it's individual vendettas, it always leads to some violence or some nasty reaction of some form. I remember when I went to school, in secondary school, we had certain teachers. Some teachers didn't allow bullying in class. When any bully took action, what happened was very, very, very simple. The teacher reported the student to the headmaster, the parents were invited, and the children were warned. On the other hand, you had teachers that folded their arms. And the next thing we saw were young boys in my class that would arm themselves, get their big brothers to come and fight, and so on. And that's the way some bullies had to back off. And if you want to go through a righteous, spiritual way in which a lot of black people do claim, which I feel is a lot of rubbish, spiritual and so on, Jesus did say it, that when somebody asked him, how many times would I be sinned against for me to take an action against such things? And he said 70 times 7. And what I do know is that the number of times we have been offended exceeds that number even before the day runs out. Whether you're on the bus, even in your own house, these people come in to read your meter, they give you a hard time. You pay them to come and fit a carpet, they give you a hard time. That's by the way. So I do not condemn anybody who comes out with a militant approach to this thing. If we are not protected, we have to protect ourselves in some way or we'll be wiped out. And this question of marching, like people have talked of marches since the 50s. If one goes deeply into our history, people have marched in the Americas and whatnot hundreds of years ago. There were so many slave revolts hundreds of years ago. In some cases, these revolts were so bitter that people had to be returned to their homeland because the whites said, if these people are going to continue this stuff, they have nothing to lose anyway. What is going to happen is that they're going to mess up our societies. They return the slaves home because that is one language that oppressors understand: violence. One thing I'm just trying to make my point because there are a lot of intelligent brothers out there who have said most of what I want to say. But there are certain black leaders and certain black people with responsibilities like those hosting shows like yourself. Many of them take the lukewarm approach. They say, let us talk. But they never address the main issue. They're just there speculating. What I do say to them, because there's a history of such people, it is documented that this DJ said this minister said this black leader said this. And I've realized, and the evidence stands for itself, that so many of such people have turned out to look stupid in the end, and they call them Uncle Toms. So anybody who wants to go by compromise, let us go and march, let us discuss, let us talk, let us play the game the white guy wants us to play, I wish them good luck. But I know posterity will judge those people that they were not worth it. They were not worth being our leaders. They were not worth being our instructors. And they were not worth it to muster up the kind of information or support or whatever for our people to be liberated. Because liberation, you have to take a resolute stand at some time to eradicate evil. In any society, at any level, there's a time. If it's the workplace, you might have to be sacked. If it is the judicial system, you must be hanged. But when that resolution only applies to one group and it doesn't apply to another group, what simply happens is that one side rots away and one side gets liberated and uplifted, and that's what happens in this society. Black people came here intelligent, strong and healthy. They go down, down, down. And white people who can't read, they say they are dyslexic. White people who are not well behaved, they say they have character disabilities, and there are rehabilitation plans for all of them without going to jail. So if you are a radio show host and you can't hack the opinion of the people that are suffering, I would advise such hosts to get out of the job and let someone who can do it do it. If the radio station is too if they are too weak or not strong enough to hack it, because I remember when this
brother, let me just get this straight. What are you actually saying as far as this station is concerned?
What I am saying is that I will compare it to when the Stephen Lawrence case happened in the first place. And I was in hospital that time, and I think it was on Radio 4, definitely Radio 4. I heard white people tuning, and they had opinions. Some of them were so nasty. They were saying, the Lawrence family are taking their kid back home. I wish all of them and all the other niggas went back home. I never heard the radio show host say anything that the white people are being negative. They made their opinions, they heard their opinions, they kept quiet about it, they let other people talk. Nobody told the white guy how you should think. They were phoning in saying, we came, we saw, and we conquered. If we colonized or enslaved the black people and so on. All what they were saying was just insults to our people. But the radio station didn't condemn one of them because that's the way white people feel. They are racist and that's how they feel. If we react towards the way we are being treated, then that's the way we feel also. We shouldn't be condemned. You rape my sister and you expect me to condone you because there's a legal system that didn't convict the rapist? I would take the laws into my own hands. The lucky thing is I have no sister. If not, I would have put a person to the challenge. Try it. And I will lick you, whether you like it or not. And that's the reason why I'm saying about this radio station, if we have, it is what we experience. Nobody is making up this hatred. Nobody is making up this pain or suffering. It is what we experience, and that's why we talk about it.
Right, so at the end of the day, just to wrap it up, brother, you see, at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it?
What I'm going to do about it is, it is my private responsibility.
No, but what I'm saying is...
If they're going to march, I will march.
All right, that's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. At the end of the day, are you going to march?
Marching is not enough. I will take other action.
Right, but you're still going to march first, though, innit?
Huh?
You're still going to the march, though, innit?
Yeah, I'm going to march.
Right, you're going to march, and if you ain't satisfied with what's taking place from there, you're going to do what you got to do, yes?
Yes.
Well, that's all I'm saying. Once you go on the march, right, what happens after that happens. I'm not saying, all I'm saying to you is, people go onto the march.
No,
make a stand from there. And then what takes place, takes place. If nothing takes place, then, you know, we can't be responsible for what takes place after that. It's just what had to be done.
All right. If you had said this in the beginning, that we will march, but what will have to happen...
if you listen carefully...
I wouldn't have even called in at all. I would have been satisfied. But what the vibe I was getting was that we have to talk and march, and we know that doesn't work.
Right. Let me just before we go, yeah. How long you been listening to the station today?
I came in for the caller before Claudette.
Right. So
and I admitted I came in late.
Right. So okay. So on that note, with no disrespect, brother, if you was in the program from the beginning, then you would have known and listened carefully to what I say, because I know the words that I use when I say what I say. Yeah, and that is what I done and turned around and said to people already. You know, we have to at least move with the family's consent, go on the march, make our stand known, all of us come together, and then, if nothing don't take place the way it should take place, obviously we'll know what the mood is going to be. Yeah?
All right, then.
Okay, then, brother.
Maybe I'll listen earlier next time.
All right, do that, yeah?
All right, then. Bye.
Peace. That's what I'm talking about, London Town. A person, you know, you come into the middle of something, you don't get the full concept of what's been said, and then I get misquoted. This is the same thing. Listen keenly, yeah? Don't just phone up and, you know, you start saying what you got to say and you've not fully heard what I've had to say, yeah? Okay. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, caller. What's your name?
Morris from Brixton.
Okay.
I did one of your shows with Briggy at one stage before. I've been listening very keenly all afternoon. Let me just say one thing. Firstly, I think that what Genesis is doing is absolutely brilliant. It's marvellous. I'm also the organiser of the march I think you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I've followed the Stephen Lawrence thing very closely for some time. What we're trying to do is bring all of the families together, and I think that's an important point, because people need to think about what it is we're trying to achieve, where we're trying to go, and in terms of people who've died in police custody over the last few years, people who've been attacked racistly in places like Eltham, like Stephen Lawrence, the next campaign that we're running is a poster whereby not just one person's photograph will appear on it. People who've died in custody over the last few months, people who've died because of racist attacks over the last decade or more, will appear on this poster. On the 28th of February, we'll be holding this planning and support meeting in Brixton, which will be in Lambeth Town Hall from about 7:30. And my learned friend, Rudy Narayan, who's an ex-barrister, is in charge of the campaign. And he's brought people like me on board. He's going to be at the town hall, and various people will be speaking, and everybody will have the opportunity to do exactly what we're doing today on Genesis in person without having to telephone mobiles and things like that. But what I'm saying is Genesis is doing a really good job, and hopefully if OG Briggy's listening in, then I will be coming into the station this evening, I hope, so that we can talk and broach these issues further. The main point is a lot of people have been talking, and I mentioned that the vigil was taking place in December 96, and there were a lot of people that said to me, yes, we'll turn up, and hundreds of people that said to me they'd turn up didn't get there, so I'm hoping that the 28th won't be the same. Another issue is I pledged last year to the government directly that we'd be holding a war remembrance type vigil at the Cenotaph, where they hold this kind of remembrance for people who died in the war, in the Second World War and in the First World War, at the Cenotaph in Whitehall. As soon as I said that, John Major shit his pants, and I received a letter from Downing Street saying, well, if this is going to go ahead, you're going to have to seek planning permission, you're going to have to speak to the Metropolitan Police, which I've done. A meeting's been scheduled now with Virginia Bottomley, the Secretary of State for National Heritage, and basically they're saying it can go ahead, but the concern that they have is having hundreds of black people converging in one place at one time, which everybody can really understand, because they always get fearful when they hear that black people are going to be in one place at the same time. And I've heard somebody today talking about the Scarman report and so on and so forth. One thing with Scarman is when he wrote his report under William Whitelaw, who was a really shitty Home Secretary, he was really crap, nobody liked him, and I've heard him quote Enoch Powell. I think the guy really knows what he's talking about, and I really would like to congratulate what he said, because it's brilliant, and some of what he said really helps to educate people. Now with Scarman's the patron of the organisation I work for, and he's very close to what we do, and I write reports for him almost every week. The thing with Scarman is, although he's a white man, and although he was a judge, and now he's a retired law lord, he's about the only white man I know that actually can mirror in an effective way the issues that affect black people on a daily basis. For example, the amount of black people that are being stopped in various places by police. The statistics show, and I'm not a statistician, but it shows 1,200 black people are stopped every single day of the week, simply because they're black. Now recently, one of the major issues in Brixton is a project that was launched in Haringey, I believe, in Tottenham, was where when they stop you, they'll actually produce a ticket and say to you, well, it's not just because you're black, but we're giving you a copy of your rights because this is why we've stopped you. Now, they're launching that in Brixton. I showed a lot of concern about that because I think, personally, that it's just going to give police officers the thought that, well, if we're going to justify our actions in terms of why we're stopping these young black people, then nobody can say anything. We can veto it and it will just get through under the carpet. Then we've got things like this criminal justice bill and these bills about bugging people's homes and offices. It's not about bugging people's homes and offices. It's about going to black people's homes, bugging our homes, and then arresting more and more black people and caging us up like they've done for many, many years. So, I mean, that's an issue that is really big on my mind. But what I'm really trying to say, the real message I want to get to people, because just in case I don't get on the show this evening, is on the 28th of February at 7:30, if you have the time, if you're passionate about what you're saying on the radio station, please, please, please come to Lambeth Town Hall, air your views, and come on the march. Demonstrate, because we've tried to organise marches so many times, and it takes people like the Anti-Nazi League, which is 99.9% white people marching for black people. We can't rely on white people to do things for us. They're not going to hand it to us on a platter and say, here's democracy, here's justice for you. And we've still got people like Stephen Lawrence dying at the hands of racist people. We've still got people like Wayne Douglas and Brian Douglas and Jeje Lepite and Ibrahim Assay and people like that dying in police custody, and people like Oscar Okoye, who's a recent one, all dying in police custody simply because they're black people. Please come on the 28th of February, air your views and say what you've got to say. Come on the march and show these people that we're not going to sit back and take this and say, yes, you can kill us, you know, just justify it afterwards and tell us stupid things through the Police Complaints Authority, like we're going to ensure that justice is seen to be done by black communities and start writing reports about us. That is not the way to do things. That's not the way to take it forward. In September or December, whichever date it's organised, please come to the Cenotaph. That in itself will make a big, big statement. I don't want to stand outside the cenotaph with 500 people. I want to stand out there with 5,000 people. I want to stand out there with 10,000 people who will make a statement, because we'll be right outside John Major's doorstep and people will have to take notice. Bearing in mind that this demonstration and march in March, on the 9th of March, which is the planning meeting that we're organising on the 28th, when that comes, we're right in the middle of a general election. I think people are really going to be caught with their pants down, and we've really got to bring this together and stop talking. We've got to produce some action, and all it's got to take is people just put your coats on and your long johns and whatever it takes on the 9th of March and come on that march.
Well, brother, most definitely.
Okay.
All right then, peace. Okay, London Town. So the meeting is the 28th of February at Brixton Town Hall, 7:30. It's a Friday. So, you know, for all those who believe say it's time for them to stop talk and do some action, now's your time to get some of that talk into action. Be there at the meeting, show your support, and make sure you're most definitely there for the march. Okay. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, my name's Sophie. I'm from Forest Gate.
Okay, Sophie.
Okay. I've been listening from the beginning of your show, and at the beginning of your show, you almost had it that it wasn't going to be a Stephen Lawrence issue or a black issue. But as a black female in this country, I'd like to say that I found it kind of like belittling to think that maybe there's some idiots out there who think that not receiving a Valentine's card is as big as this issue or an issue like this. Anyway, to go on, I'd like to make my point here. His Majesty, His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie said, until the philosophy, which holds one man superior and another inferior, is finally and permanently discredited, everywhere is war. We as black people know that to be the truth. I'd like you to go back to the word discredited. We need in this country to discredit white man and racism, the white system and racism. We need to discredit it. Some people think that violence is the way. If that's what you think, you do your violence, but no, it's on your own head. Some people think that peace is the right way, and to follow these people's system is the right way. If you know that you've got the heart and the head to do that, do that. There's room for all of us in this, yeah? But it's on your own head, and that's for people to know that. What I'd like to say is, it's not like 50 years ago when we didn't have black lawyers, we didn't have barristers, we didn't have teachers, etc. Okay, there's not enough of us, but there are enough of us who are inside these systems to know what goes on and what's important and what procedures we need to take. If a few of us who are in the professions take a little bit of our time to show other people what to do, then if we're working from within and working from without, we can't fail, you know? I think it's important for people to know as well that in order to progress, we don't need to be like the mouse in the wheel, just running round and round and round and not thinking what these people want us to do and what the society and system has designed for us to do, which is not to think and use our brain cells. Yeah? We shouldn't comply with that. We need to sometimes, as these mice in this little running wheel, think, hold on a minute, let me just step out this wheel and see what happens. If I use my 2 brain cells, if I use the talents that God has given me, what can I do for my people? If you see an injustice is done, sometimes you can't always show a man your cards, you know? If you're playing a game of poker and you're playing to win, you can't show the man your cards. Make sure you're not stacked with your cards and a man can read your cards in the reflection of the window. Make sure you have those cards close to your chest, you know what I mean? As I see it, all of us can do something. Some people want to have long talk and they have big ideas, but they don't want to do nothing, or they feel that because all they're able to do is small, that is not enough. But you know, sometimes every mickle make a muckle. If people do what little they can, it does accumulate and it does add up to something. A lot of people I keep hearing coming with this business that marching and doing things like that doesn't matter, but it does matter. For the plain fact, if you look back to 1930 in America, a man like Marcus Garvey, under all that pressure he was under, look how much he did. People don't want us to know them kind of history and them kind of organization, but using his brain cells and using his power of speech and to know that people can have unity, he did much. And we're supposed to be so technologically advanced. If we're so advanced and we're not so prehistoric, we have to use our brains. That's what it's there for. You know? At the end of the day, I think we can get somewhere. It might not be instantaneous, but we can get somewhere by doing something. If you continuously keep on doing something, just like with normal skills of day-to-day life. At first, when you try a new trade or a new skill, it doesn't work at first, and maybe you do get a bit of knockbacks. But if you keep trying and you keep trying and you keep trying and you decide you're not going to fail, you will see the end result, and we will see the end result. I think it's for all of us to do things in terms of using our brains. If someone can put pen to paper and write to John Major, everybody who's black who feels this way, if you write pen to paper, that's the kind of system and understanding that these people have. Even if it means on election day, somebody comes together with all these letters from thousands of black people and give it to Mr. Major, he can't ignore that. I respect what the Stephen Lawrence's family is doing, because I see it as they're the first black people who've decided they're going to go right through the legal system and show blatantly the sham that there is. We know there's lies, but you know in this system you have to prove to them people and make them have their back against the wall. And this is what's happened in this case. Their back is against the wall. They have no option but to try and come out with a solution. We don't want 90 million, like how they did after Brixton Rights. Give the people a little 90 million, shut them up. It seems like we're doing all right for these people and we do care. No, we want things on the statute books to show that black people are not to be treated in this way, and nobody in this country should be treated as an inferior just because of their skin colour. Just because they have melanin in their skin, they're treated as an inferior. It's not right. We won't accept it, but everybody has to think of what their talents are and what they can do, and to stop thinking that if you can only do little, then it's not enough. We can do many things. You're only as great as you think of yourself. It's about time we stop beating ourselves with the same stick they're giving us and move forward. You know, those who want to sit front, that's on your head. You do that if that's what you want to do. But I know there's enough people in this country with brain cells, with talent, with professions, that they can do things. You know? I haven't got much more to say. It's just yin and yang. I suppose one can't live without the other. There's people who breed in violence, that's their business. There's people who can do things peacefully and use their brain cells a little bit. But we mustn't show them people all our cards. We must always make sure we have one card at least under the table that we can draw, you know? The other thing is, the black pound is strong, you know? Maybe it's time we start crippling people and show them, say, you know what, we ain't buying from you. If you can't support us and if you're not going to do what's right by us, then we ain't giving you our money. Because we know in this country, money talks. And you know the rest of the sayings. Anyway, that's all I've got to say.
All right then, sis. Enough respect for your call still, yeah?
Okay.
All right, peace. Okay, London town, there you go. Some positive words. That's what we want to see, you know. Like the sister says, obviously, you know, there's people out there who've just got the, all right, let's go to it. But at the end of the day, you got to think about what you're going to do when you go out and do it, and what you're going to do after you've done it. You know, so it's not a case of just rushing in there headstrong. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon. This is Eddie from Herne Hill.
Yes, Eddie.
Yes, good greetings.
Yes, greetings, Eddie.
Yeah, how you been?
Not too bad, not too bad.
That's good. To the sister that just called, yeah, I'll big you up. You're in the right step, yeah? You're taking the right movement, and you're a natural mystic, yes? Because, I mean, the manner in which you speak is like you have your brain set in the right position. And the community needs more people like you, and I'll big you up still, because that's the right kind of mentality that we should be having. Because if black people, we tend to forget one thing, that the white man is lacking in any form of ethical or moral development. And the tragic mistake that we make is, you know, liberating our black people from a moral and ethical suasion. So in other words, that if we think that we're going to get anywhere by being moral or telling them that this is unethical or unmoral, their absence of that, they don't have no development for that, so they're not going to budge from that. And history has proven when they justify their actions through their God and Jesus Christ. Okay? But to the sister that just called up, cut my hands big time for you, because you're on the right step. That's all I got to say.
All right, enough respect for that call, yeah, Eddie?
All right.
All right, peace, brother.
Peace.
Okay, London town, there you go. Eddie from Herne Hill. That's what I'd like to see, you know. Like I said, you go out there in your march. When you march on certain things, don't take place from when you do your actions, then what is to be will be. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon, Miss Paul from Brixton, yeah?
Okay, Paul.
Yeah. Well, in response to the gentleman that phone who know Lord Scarman, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And he was saying that he found him a reasonable man. Well, I've got personal experience with him as well. I found him a reasonable man, yeah? You see, during the 1981 riots and all that in Brixton, he came and he laid down good rules, but it was hijacked. I can even give you names of people who hijacked this thing for us, you understand? Because they divert it. After the riot, diverted it. They talk about bad housing, unemployment, and it's like what they do, they shift the blame from police harassment, totally. So in these organizations got X amount of money to develop local housing, a little housing here and there, but overall the talk about police harassment was abandoned. And these organizations, they still exist today, serving no particular purpose to us. But you see, what I'm trying to say here, the police in this country has always been our problem. The man that called before the gentleman that know Lord Scarman, the brother with the African accent, he was talking good talk because he was trying to give you he was trying to give you a good idea what was going on. I mean, that is justice we need. It's justice we want here. We don't want no freedom and equality and all that. We just want this justice because you see, there's a lot of the black and so-called black violence in the community that can be put down as well to when we have a problem. We know that we can't call the police, you know, because I've seen situations where people call the police on another person and they get arrested too. When the police come, they want to arrest everybody if you're black, you know what I mean? They don't care who's right or who's wrong. I mean, I even see my dad's house got breaking into, and they wanted to know where my dad, almost in his 50s at the time, wanted to know where my dad got his stereo. But anyway, yeah, people, they got people out there who are just because Lord Scarman did make good recommendations. And I'll give you another quick demonstration of how the police take liberty with us, openly. Right, take this now. The crime figures they used to give in the 80s, yeah? They used to give it 6 months. That was very clever of them. They used to give the crime figure every 6 months. They would say, all right, then 10,000 crime committed here and there. 10,000 crime included, say, burglary, mugging, maybe pickpocket. They said 10,000 crime committed in the Brixton area over a period of 6 months, yeah? Another 6 months, they give you another crime breakdown. They will say another 10 to 15,000 crime being committed in the area. Now, that crime figure been going on for about, say, 6 years. They was giving those sort of breakdown in figures, yeah? But you put 2 and 2 together, you find out that with the population of Brixton, and mainly, if you should take it into consideration, one person would have to get mugged at least 2 to 3 times per year, per month, per 6 months or so, for it to be like truthful. So that was open liberty. Another big liberty what they take was with the sus law. The sus law, because I was a victim of that, yeah? What they used to do about the pickpocket, the Southern and person in collusion with the police, they used to print every Friday and every Tuesday take up that Sunday press. There was stories of pickpocket, there's stories of pickpocket, sus and all that. But the very time Thatcher abolished the sus law, it's like the people just stopped pickpocket because there was no more reporting the Southern press of pickpocket or sus. So what it was saying now, because Mrs. Thatcher abolished sus, people decided to say, okay, sus is abolished, let's stop pickpocket and let's stop being suspected. It goes to show you that it's a conspiracy the police had. We have you see, you was trying to keep the people on a true course by telling them about demonstration. Because look, the right, the serve a purpose at that time. to capitalize on it now. We don't need no more of that. We want to capitalize. We must, that march, as hard as it might look, it's the solution we must use. It can be as effective as them riots, them marches. It's more effective, you see, a peaceful demonstration. Because, you see, these guys, they're so good strategists that if we continue to riot in whether large scale or small scale, sooner or later they're going to use the same riots against us by saying that we can't even demonstrate because they're going to be breaking out in riots. So we've got a mind now, we talk about this violent business and things like that. We have to go about peacefully, and in the end they're going to scare us that, you know.
All right then, Paul.
All right.
Enough respect for that still,
Nice,
yeah?
nice.
Peace. Okay, London town. As you can see, the time approximately is 10 minutes up to the hour of 1, and we're going through on your views on the People's Talk Show. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good afternoon. It's Andy Morris again from Brixton.
Yes, Andy.
Just a few points, because I've been listening again, and I heard the sister earlier on that congratulated by another brother, and she was talking a lot of sense, and I think we really do need people like her, because she's very vocal and she knows what she's talking about. But just to confirm a few things, because I've heard lots of people talking about the money that's been poured into Brixton. Fortunately, I'm in a good position because I'm the former deputy chairman of one of their committees, and I resigned on principle because they were just talking shit and doing my head in, basically. It wasn't 90 million that Brixton got. We got 187 million, and the idea of that, they call it City Challenge. It comes under the government's initiative for regeneration, and lots of different boroughs got it. I think Deptford got it, and Kensington and Chelsea and a few others got it. On the challenge situation, the 187 million runs out next year, and it's not something I'm really concerning myself with, because the idea of it, policing wasn't brought into it. But a paper was submitted to Lambeth Council when I was a council aide in '94 on democratic control of police officers. The white paper that I submitted was terms of reference for a committee that would comprise of community people and a few councillors in the area. And the idea was that it was going to go around all London boroughs so that the control of police officers would be taken away from the Home Office and taken away from central government and brought to local government, where local people are elected to positions of power like being a councillor. But I think we're losing sight now of how important councillors are, and I think councillors, once they're elected, are losing sight of how much power they actually hold, and therefore that paper sort of lost its way in Lambeth Town Hall and various other town halls all across London. So that's something we're trying to bring up again. But the idea on the demonstration, I think I need to reiterate it, and I'll give somebody else a chance to talk in a second because I've talked twice already, is the demonstration that's planned for the 9th of March is for everybody. The demonstration or vigil, whatever you want to call it, at the Cenotaph in September is for everybody. I'm not going to seclude people simply because they're white, because there are people that are white that have died in police custody, and the reason I'm not going to seclude these people is because for a very long time the Anti-Nazi League, since their establishment, have been marching and demonstrating and fighting on issues that don't really concern them. They concern black people. So I think really, as black people, we are indebted to a number of the people that have been involved with the Anti-Nazi League simply because they're fighting issues that don't really concern them. On another note, and I'll big her up still because I know she's listening, is Brenda Pike from Deptford. She's been fighting on a number of issues, and I felt sorry for her because a number of people who said they'd turn up to a job seekers allowance demonstration in Peckham didn't quite arrive. But I think that's another important issue because there's a number of people in the black community that are fighting this job seekers allowance. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them, but I still turned up to the demonstration because I'm self-employed. But I turned up to the demonstration. It went pretty well. Brenda gave out all her leaflets and things. But I think that the opportunity on the 28th for people to turn up to this planning and support meeting in support of Wayne Douglas, Brian Douglas, the names are endless. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of the names, but the names are completely endless. I think the opportunity for people to turn up on that day, not simply to talk and argue amongst our number, but to have the opportunity to turn up, see how much support there actually is, and people to throw in what they think may be a beneficial thing to do, which is expedient to the cause in terms of the 9th of March when we march on Downing Street. And John Major's already agreed to it because I've had a letter sent to him and I've asked if he'd receive a petition. So what that lady was saying earlier on, the really vocal one, is that in terms of people writing to John Major, that can be done, and on the 9th of March, people will have the opportunity to actually go into the gates of Downing Street and hand that in, a petition against whatever it may be. I'm looking at the possibility of a widespread petition, not just on deaths in police custody, but things that really do mean a lot to other individuals. Maybe job seekers allowance could be one of those things. Maybe there are other things like being stopped and questioned and searched by police officers. That is another thing, not just necessarily dying in police custody. So I think they're all important issues, and the 28th is a very, very important day because everybody will then have the opportunity. I'm not trying to base it all in Brixton because I know that people that are ringing in are coming from different areas. I think the young lady that rung in was from Forest Gate. I know that some of the problems that affect Brixton are just as bad widespread in other London boroughs and other parts of London. So I think that if people really want the opportunity to do these things, and as I said earlier in my earlier statement, if people are passionate about it and will stop sitting down at home, going to raves and smoking and whatever, then we'll have the opportunity to broach these ideas properly. And I don't just mean talk, because that's not going to get us anywhere. And as a black community, we've got to really move forward. I think that one of the most important things that showed notoriety was Minister Louis Farrakhan in America. He organized a Million Man March, and fortunately for him, he did get over 1 million young men to turn up for that march, and that played wonders on the minds of people like President Clinton and so on and so forth, because here they're seeing a huge number of black people, particularly men, and in this country it should be men as well. I mean, I'm not saying that women should be excluded, because I know women do suffer similar problems to the men, but I don't think anyone will disagree that more young black men are stopped by the police and beaten up and dying in custody than there are women. And I will yield myself to the fact that obviously, what's her name I can't remember the name, but she was bound by about 13-foot of tape. I think you know who I'm talking about, by the police, deportation. I can't remember the name, but I think it was in Clapham at some stage about 2 years ago. So all the issues need to be brought together, and the 28th is really an opportunity to do that.
Okay then, Andy, enough respect for the call still, and we'll definitely put it across to London Town.
Okay, thanks.
All right, peace. Okay, London Town, don't forget it's for all of those incidents, you know, it's a time when we can all come together and show, well, look here, what all these things have taken place. Enough is enough. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, sir. Or afternoon more, sir.
Yeah.
So first, I'd like to send my love to the Lawrence family. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. What's your name?
Okay.
Where are you calling from, brother?
My name's Leroy. I'm phoning from Brixton.
Okay, Leroy.
Yeah? But as always, it always comes back to the black community's dividedness. You know, because we lost many soldiers, yeah, in this war that we're in. And the reason why we're losing them is because the enemies know that we're not together. You know, if we were actually together, not just like, you know, running the streets together, but, you know, politically, socially, commercially, everything together, solid community, wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. You know, when we look at other communities like the Jews, people know you can't just walk in, kill a Jew, walk out. You just can't do it. They will hound you. I mean, for example, let's take O.J. Simpson case. That was Jewish power. The man won in their courts. They said, oh no. They used their money, used their might. They went after him. You see, understand what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah.
So basically, what we need to look at is, even if, you know, like, I can understand the anguish of some of the brothers and sisters. They're phoning in. They want instant action, but it doesn't work. You have to plan. Whether you're going on the tip of that, you want
still have
war,
to plan.
violence,
That's right. You still have to plan. That's why I said earlier.
Whatever you're going to do, you need to plan.
That's right.
And that's going to take togetherness. You can't just all run, we're on this tip, I'm on that tip. No. You have to plan, you have to come together. People have to see a solid black community. And then they'll say, oh no, let's respect that. Let's not mess around with them. Let's not argue with them. Let's give them this concession. You know? But until we actually come on that level where we're doing business and everything on a solid level, we're not going to get that respect, and someone's going to always be walking in, killing, and walking out, and we're going to be losing more soldiers. And so, you know, what we're looking on now is Stephen Lawrence died 4 years ago, yeah? So we have to look on that as like the last who should be dying. Or, you know, up to date, there's more who have died. But we have to look on that as the last that should be dying in that respect. Now it's time to come together. Should be no more. That's what I'm saying, brother.
Enough respect, brother.
Peace.
Peace. That's right, London town. At the end of the day, it's okay going out there and causing all of these riots or whatnot, but it's what you're gonna do after that. Not even so much that, is what you do before that. Like the caller said, you've got to plan. You can't just go out and do something. You have to have a plan. Good afternoon, caller. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
Paula, and I'm calling from Lee. I'm just phoning regarding to the guy who spoke before the last guy here. In response to the petition that they're going to march on 10 Downing Street.
Yeah.
Now, I wrote a letter to John Major, Tony Blair, and Paddy Ashdown requesting an interview regarding about the up-and-coming elections and what they intend on doing for black people. I have not received anything from Paddy Ashdown as of yet. Tony Blair is refusing to interview me because he hasn't got the time. I received a letter from John Major, and I'll read exactly what he says. It says, "Thank you for your letter to the Prime Minister of 17th of January 1997. I have been asked to reply on his behalf, and I'm very sorry for the long delay. Due to existing diary commitments, I'm afraid the Prime Minister will not be able to do an interview. However, I can assure you that this government does not discriminate on the grounds of race, creed or colour. The Prime Minister has reiterated our commitment to create a society where there is genuine opportunity for all. And I enclose a copy of the Prime Minister's speech to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the independence of India and Pakistan at the Commonwealth Institute. I hope this is helpful, and thank you for taking the trouble to write." Now, number one, I have got nothing to do with India and Pakistan. I requested the interview, to ask them what they were going to do for black people regarding homelessness, unemployment, the beatings that they're giving our black men in police custody, and so forth and so forth. And he sent me the speech that he's given to India and Pakistan. As far as I'm concerned, that is an insult to all black people. And I just cannot believe that they actually sent me this. And tomorrow I'm going to phone The Voice, and I want to be interviewed by The Voice because I need this to be exposed. They don't care about black people. You understand what I'm saying? They're just... I don't even know what to say next now, because this is just such an insult. I just cannot believe what is going on. And that is all I wanted to say, really.
So it was a definite shock to your system, then,
It was a definite
especially when
shock
you come to that
system.
part.
I mean, India and Pakistan, what has black people got to do with India and Pakistan? They're fighting their own cause. We need to fight our own cause. And this is the type of thing that they've given me. And they've actually put a big speech that he did to India and Pakistan enclosed with the letter that they sent to me. And I just cannot believe it, So I just will say that every black person out there needs to know what's really going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, sis.
All right, that's all I like to say.
Enough respect for your call,
Bye.
yeah? All right, peace. And just to pick up on that note, also, sis, let us know what takes place with you and The Voice, yeah? Okay, then. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sandy Morris again. I know everyone's going to get pissed off with me, but just to pick up on what that sister just said, I understand exactly what she said. I did 6 months in the House of Commons with Paddy Ashdown's office and with Simon Hughes' office. It's always the way with politicians. They'll continually fob you off. But what I will say is I think it will help her if she contacts Matthew Griffiths at The Voice. He was very active with the Wayne Douglas thing, and he's like a senior reporter down there. In addition to that, there's another guy called Maurice McLeod who's on TV quite a lot, but he's from The Voice, and he's one of their main reporters in terms of community issues and things. On the Downing Street issue, if there's something she really wants to take up with Downing Street, now I'm not saying that my office can pull any strings, any further than what she's already done, but what I will say is on this demonstration march on the 9th of March, there is an opportunity where the Prime Minister has already agreed that no more than 6 people, it's police rules, no more than 6 people, including, the press can go in over and above the 6, can take a photograph and whatever, but she can actually go in if she wants and hand in whatever the petition is or whatever the letter she wants to hand in to the Prime Minister. He won't do it in person because the letter I sent to him said something like, since he's an old Brixtonian, I want him to accept the petition in shirt sleeves at his door. I received a response similar to hers, so no difference there, which just basically said the Prime Minister has definitely agreed to accept your petition, somebody will accept it on his behalf, so on and so forth, and you can go into the gates of Downing Street. But I think that if she wants to come along to the meeting, if not, the office that I work from is on Brixton Road, not far from the Town Hall. It's 411A Brixton Road, which is Civil Rights UK. It's a legal consultancy, and the guy I work with there is an ex-barrister. I'm training to be a barrister because I want to be an advocate. in the legal system, because I think we don't have enough black people in the legal system for the defence, and that's exactly what I want to do. The opportunity is there, and I'm available to her and anybody else. I'm not going to charge people just because it's a legal consultancy. I'm available any time for people, Monday to Friday, to pop into the office at any time up until the 9th of March and afterwards. But
Do you want to quickly give me the telephone number there, Andy?
Sorry?
You want to quickly give me the telephone number?
Telephone number, yeah, I'll give you several telephone numbers.
Yeah, just
the office number
Yeah.
is 0171 501 9394. That's my direct number. That's the number that I'm using for the campaign for the march on the 9th of March to Downing Street, and for information to people about the planning meeting on the 28th of February.
Yeah.
So that number, once again, 0171 501 9394. But if you try it now, I won't be there, because last time I did it, I had about 9 messages on my mobile when I gave my mobile number out. The other number is 0171 738 7375, which again is in the same office, but that's Rudy Narayan's direct number, or the secretary that works in the office. And my mobile number is not actually on at the moment, so don't try it. It's 0956 822 600. That's 0956 822 600. That should be on hopefully next week or the week after, but you can definitely get me at the office at any time. But I mean, the main thing I'm working on now, I'm not even in court as much. I've finished one case, which was a case in the Crown Court last week, where we managed to get one off, but one was convicted, unfortunately, in a leafy suburb of Kingston. But now I'm not doing any more cases. I'm just doing county court work at the moment, which is quite easy. It's basically summonses and things, dealing with those. But I am available. I'm around. I've got several meetings beginning on Monday onwards, and most of those are to do with this issue. And what I am doing as well is I'm sending people, because I think it's important. Doreen Lawrence, the mother of Stephen Lawrence, she launched a campaign in the House of Commons about 2 years ago, which is like this orange ribbon that people are wearing, which is similar to the one that people are wearing for HIV and AIDS. And a lot of people have asked me what it is, a lot of white people particularly, have asked me what the orange ribbon stands for, because they're all thinking it's HIV and AIDS and maybe the colour's changed. And I said to them, no, it's for Stephen Lawrence. And they've all understood straight away. One white woman stopped me on the tube only yesterday night and asked me, and got into a whole fully fledged debate about the whole issue, and telling me that, similar to what people said earlier on this show, and that was what she was saying, is that if it were her, then she would actually hire a hitman, and those boys, white or black, would have been killed if it were her son. And she's really trying to, I think, gauge me as a black person, and trying to gauge my reaction, which was very limited, because when it comes to white people, I feel very limited about what I can say and what I should say. When it comes to that. I mean, I spent about 6 months, as I said, at the House of Commons. It was very difficult, because I was one of very, very few black people working in the Palace of Westminster. Likewise, I did 2.5 years with Lambeth Council. That was different, because a lot of the officers and a lot of the senior officers at Lambeth Council are black, so I have to give Lambeth a bit of credit there. But going back to what the sister said, all my doors are most definitely open. I mean, I've done this kind of work for the past 5 years, and every single year I keep saying to myself, if I can't get 5,000 people on a march of some kind, or get 5,000 people involved with this kind of issue like Louis Farrakhan, even if it means that the various organisations are brought together, like the Stephen Lawrence campaign and all the other campaigns anybody can think of, then I will retire and I will give up. And that's coming from me. I'm only 21.
Well, put it to Andy, I've got your number written down in the studio here anyway, so if anyone wants to give me a call in the studio, they can get the number, plus we'll read it out for London Town.
Okay. Well, on Monday morning, I'll be there from 11 o'clock.
All right, then.
Okay, cheers.
Peace.
Bye.
Okay, London Town, 0956 407 515. 10 minutes past, just gone 10 minutes past the hour of 1. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon. It's me again. With him from Camberwell.
Yeah.
What I do have to say this time is, from other shows which you've hosted on this particular one, I have noticed that there's already beginning to be a divide amongst black people who call in. There are those who are ex-bureaucrats who have worked with the government, worked in certain positions. They come out and they give an impression of decency, niceness, what everything the white man stands for. And the thing is that I have a number of friends who are well educated. It doesn't matter, but we're sitting down now, we're listening to this show, and a guy has an African accent or he has a West Indian accent, it doesn't mean that he has not got any sensible commitment. He might have a PhD. He might have worked in a high position or still working in a high position. But the thing there is that he does have some passion, and he has put away his manners and his books and a very decent accent because he knows that maybe his mother or someone else's mother might not be that well educated or that well cultured, but because they're black women, they're still cleaning, doing odd jobs, and living a life that many of us are ashamed of. So one thing I would like to say is that if you are a well-educated bureaucrat, ex-bureaucrat, calling into a show, it is not fair to patronize the ordinary man who can't speak that way or who hasn't had that experience, because I know that there are so many decent, ordinary black people there who never get to meet lords, they never get to meet ministers or parliamentarians or whatever, but these people still have sensible, intelligent plans of how at least they will uplift their own children or their community. They network each other. If you don't have a house, you call up a friend, he tells you, okay, he knows somewhere you can rent and so on. All those things are those little bits that are essential to development. So my advice is that if you are an ex-bureaucrat or you are an Oxbridge graduate or so on, please don't put it across on the radio. The radio station is just a medium. It's not a place to show off serious issues like this. And that's all I have to say, right?
Okay then, brother.
Okay.
Okay, William, peace.
Okay, bye.
Okay, London Town, 0956 407 515. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? We seem to have lost that caller. Last caller, try again. Right, London Town, we're moving on. Don't forget the meeting on the 28th of this month, covering the last lot of deaths that's taken place over the last, like Andy says, over the last decade and beyond. Good afternoon, caller. What's the name? Where are you calling from? Oh, we've lost that one as well. All right, no problem. We're moving into the last 45 minutes of the show. Straight up after me, you got the Centre B. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello? Yes, I can.
I was calling that I listened to his friend earlier, and I listened to the other guy. I think the man who was making the joke out, and I said from earlier. That was someone else.
Hello, Sandra? Hello?
Yeah.
Sandra?
Yeah, Sophia.
Sorry, Sophia. You seem to be breaking up.
Breaking up. Can you hear me better now?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go on. Could you say that last piece again?
I said, well, for the guy who just phoned, I heard his point earlier, and I heard the other guy at his point, who I think he was taking a little drive back in his last comment.
Yeah.
What I can say is going back to my point that I made, don't watch anybody else. Watch yourself and know what you're capable of doing. I don't think Andy was patronising anybody, but all he's showing is from his level and from where he's at and where he's working, those were the issues that he can see. From the man on the street, do what you can do as the man on the street, and don't make anybody think or make you think that you're inferior. Just watch yourself, know what you're capable of doing, do what you're able to do at your means. Don't try to do, I think for everybody, don't ever try to stretch and do more than you can do. If everybody does the little that they can do, then every single area that we as black people are in this country and in our lives will be covered. If you are a person who doesn't feel that you're articulate to speak maybe on an education or a law view, go to the demonstrations or do what you can do in your workplace or your environment, you know, or look where you're spending your money, you know, but don't watch other people. If someone else is in the places that to do with education or to do with the law and that sort of thing, let them do their work if that's what they're doing. wherever you are and where your standing is, do your work from that end. But don't discredit each other. See, that's just a dividing business again. You know, I don't think Andy meant to come across like he was patronising anybody. I mean, I myself, I'm studying to do like teaching, and I'm finding out things that I didn't know from there, you know. At the end of the day, sometimes I come across less intelligent than maybe I come across on paper. But I'm not watching that. I can just do what I can do. Everybody else out there, if you feel that there's something for you to do, look at your own talents. We've all been given and assigned talents, you know. So we're supposed to use the talents, what we have, in the way that we can use them, you know.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say to my manager's phone just now. Andy weren't trying to patronise nobody, but he's talking about the things he knows. Talk about and do the things you know, you know. And then everybody's got something to do, and then everything gets covered and dealt with. That's all I have to say. Bye.
Okay then, Sophia. Peace. All right, London Town. There you go. You have it. Whatever you can do, whatever contribution you've got to make, that's all. That's what it's about at the end of the day. Don't watch the next man. Do what you've got to do to get the job done. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Andy Morris. Let me start by thanking Sophia for her comments. They're much appreciated. If I have patronised anybody, then I give my unreserved apologies. I didn't mean to come across in that way, because since my bureaucratic days, as the other gentleman put it, I've come down a bit or two, in the sense that, I mean, I've never forgotten my community, and people tell you that since I started casework and since I started doing things in politics and in local government and central government with the Liberal Democrats, I never have forgotten any of the issues, and I've always been there when people have asked me to be there.
Well,
Now,
Andy, all I got to say to you is that don't, you know what I mean, because London Town can judge for themselves what you're out there trying to do, you know what I mean? You don't, I mean, you've made your point. You don't need to stress it any further, because at the end of the day, you can only be judged by the works that you actually do. So all I can say different, don't even take it on board, just carry on doing the works that you're doing for us as black people.
yeah, I think that's the best advice I've had all day.
All right then, brother.
All right, nice one, brother.
Peace. Okay, London Town, we're just telling it as it is, you know. That's what we don't need. We don't need, when I say negative, you know, things that's going to bring us down. If you're out there and you're in a position and you can help pass on the knowledge, you pass the knowledge on. Okay, good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. Hello, caller? No, we've definitely lost that caller. Last caller, try again. Anyway, like I said, just do what you can do, because everybody out there has a purpose. You're not here just for anything. You're here to do something specific. It's for you to tap in within yourself and know what you got to do. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, my name's Dawn from Hackney.
Okay, Dawn.
And I just want to say the caller, the guy who was thinking that people were being patronising, I have to disagree with him. Can I say that I thought the guy was just trying to say, look, this is what I'm able to do and I can help in any way that I can. This is just another form of dividing. I mean, I was getting a sense of unity as the calls were coming in. Please don't spoil that. Okay.
Okay then, Dawn.
Thank you.
Enough
Bye-bye.
respect for the call. Peace. See, that's what we're trying to build at the end of the day. The bottom, the fundamental, the most important thing to us all, but we tend to, you know, think it ain't nothing, and that's unity. We have to come together, and right now, this is one chance where we can come together and show a force. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Genesis, yeah?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn your radio up just a little bit.
Oh, I have to turn my radio up.
Yeah, just a little
I
bit.
just wanted to make a short comment, really and truly.
Yeah.
Especially with regard to, obviously, what's happened to Stephen Lawrence recently.
Yeah.
And especially on the date we're on, which is what we know, the 16th.
Yeah.
But the other day was Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
And I was round like a friend's house. And I was kind of vilified for the fact that I wasn't sending my woman on that particular day a Valentine's card. Now, I think with regard to what's happened recently, Valentine's Day for us as black people should be a day where we have love for ourselves. You know what I mean? We don't just remember the love we have for our partners, but I think we need to remember Valentine's Day, not so much, like I say, as a thing where you remember the love for your partner, but we need to have some love for ourselves, because it's quite obvious that really the system is not showing us any love at all. And I think until we have some love for ourselves, then, you know, and some unity, then really our progression is going to be extremely slow. And I think in future, Valentine's Day should be a day of self-love and love for one another as black people. And that's all I got to say, really, yeah?
Enough respect for that call, brother. And
all right, then, cool.
Peace. There you go, an alternative for February the 14th, for love for ourselves. Yeah, cause you know, so if you can't love yourself, or you can love somebody else. Eh? Tell me that. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, yeah, okay, this is Helen, Blackies. I was just agreeing with the guy who called just now. I said that we need to have love for ourselves, because I think black people distrust each other a lot. And they don't see the good that somebody else is trying to hand out. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
Hello?
sis. Yeah, I can hear you, sis. I thought I didn't think you was finished.
Oh, okay.
No, that's true. No, it's true. We do need to have, some love for ourselves, because...
Yeah, and a lot more respect for ourselves, and know that nobody's better than anybody. We should take people as face value as much as possible. Otherwise, nobody's ever going to trust anybody. It's going to be going around in circles forever.
Yeah, that's right, because, but you see, the base of it is that if you can't love yourself, you can't love no one else.
Well, this is it, yeah.
And to love yourself and appreciate what you are and who you are, that can flow outwards to other people, and other people can see that, and then that's a form of, they'll come together, and
That's
the
right.
basis of the unity that we're trying to express to everyone,
That's right.
which this march can achieve.
Yeah.
And we just, not a case of we just stick together just for that day of the march, and we go on march, or we come to the meeting and we're just there for that. We have to stick together continuously after that as well.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. So
it's
all
an
our
ongoing
children
thing.
can know
You don't take it up for today and put it down tomorrow.
That's right.
That's
right. We've got people behind us. I've got children. I have to show them this is how it goes.
That's
They're
right.
not going to be too small forever,
Absolutely, sis.
Okay, then.
And thanks for your call, yeah?
Take care.
All right, peace.
Bye.
Okay, London Town. I've got to say we've got the commissioner inside the place. All tight commissioner. yeah. All right, we're moving on. Time 20, just coming up to 25 minutes past the hours. And we're discussing, a couple of issues which I ain't had a chance to even break into. Anyway, good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
No, my name is Jenny, and I'm from Hackney.
Okay, Jenny.
I just want to disagree with that gentleman, the African gentleman. I think he was being very negative against Andy. I think, if that's the way he really feels, he should really keep his comments to himself. I don't think Andy was being patronising in no way at all. He was just showing us that there are people out there with a bit of power who can do things and who can, one day change things. We don't need anybody coming in and saying, he was, people who left him, all that rubbish. We don't need it. We just need to move forward, not backwards. And that's all I've got to say.
All right, enough respect for that call, sis. Okay, London Town. You see, we're done and over that already, because we know there's going to be times when things are said and a person will take it directly straight to the heart, without fully understanding what's been said. Anyway, good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Can you tell Andy that I'm going to come and shake his hand on the 28th, and the African guy's just jealous.
All right, well,
Because they're better than us.
You've just turned... Well, you've just turned around and told him, sis, even though I didn't get your name and where you're calling from. But now, come on, London Town. Let's keep it positive. Let's, no disrespect to Andy, but let's lay that issue to rest and move on about how we're going to achieve this unity that we need in and around our community. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Janet again.
Yeah.
Just want to say, I will be coming down to that meeting. And I'll also be gathering up all my nieces and my nephews and all my son's friends and stuff, and I'll be bringing them along as well, because I feel that, it would benefit them a great deal to see what's really going on in our community. And also, if they see, they can actually voice their opinions, it's a step forward. Do you understand?
Yeah, absolutely, sis, for that alone. You just muster up as much as you can.
I'll
The
be
support is
bringing
needed.
enough young people with me. Anyway, respect to the show.
All right, respect, sis, yeah? Okay, London Town. What are we going to do? We've got to move forward. You know how it goes already, London Town. That's why we need positive input into this show. This is the People's Talk Show. My name's The Driver. and I'm taking you up to the hours of 2. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Big Mark, afternoon driver. Yeah, calling from Deptford. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to ring up to say, like, you know, unity is strength, see? And unity is power. Yeah, and power structures only respect other power. For instance, when people come together, you know, like when they do in America, for the Million Man March, that was power that made people look all over the world. You know what I mean? To look at that and say, boy, you know, the black brothers are not getting themselves together, they all get to themselves. Even through that little march that they did in America, it made even certain rappers, you know, who used to deal with gangster rap, change their attitude. And now they're singing about people coming together. You know what I mean? So that let me say, unity is power. If we was to do something like that in England, it would make a little change. You know, it make people notice us still, you know what I mean? We have to come together, because as Malcolm said, power, only respect power. One man can stand up and say blah, 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 blah. But a mass of people stand up and say that, people are going to listen to him, or listen to them. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you know, say, boy, we have to come together, link up meetings, whatever, make sure that it's broadcast, that everybody knows about it. Even if people don't listen on the radio station, there are bill posts, you know, bill posts the area, bill posts the black community. So then when everybody knows, because that's how they did it in America when they were going to have the minimum march, it was a good amount of months to prepare it, so that the people then who was going to go and do it, people could see it. So you get in your system, it's in your mind, and you bring yourself to look towards it, you know what I'm saying? You know, they were saying, boy, if we were thinking about doing a march over in England to bring that support, we have to make sure that we do it in a way that we give ourselves time, we build posts, promote it on the radio station, we promote it in a newspaper, you know what I mean? So then when we link together and we do that march there, it's as effective as it was when the brothers entered in America, you know?
Yeah, for real.
So, God, you know, power only respect power. They'll never show respect for us unless we have some power. When we come together, we have power. And see strength and power. You know? That's
Absolutely,
all I have to say,
brother.
you know? And another thing before I go, you know, Stephen Lawrence, Roland Adams, yeah, and all the other black people who got killed, Douglas, and all the other black people who got killed, even in the 80s. Because I grew up in the 80s. I remember in the 80s, we all go for march and all them things. There were people who get killed in a police station. We go for march and then when we come to the end of the march, you have certain little idiot who start going with silliness and like start brush shop and things there, and like just mash up the whole idea of what we were for the march in the first place. So when, like, we have to make sure that when we go for the march, we get rid of all the people there who directly, you know, not coming there for the unity or for the power structure for the people. They just come in there as troublemakers. Just to make sure we can sieve them things out, you know what I mean? So that we don't get that when we go on the march, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
For real, Brethren, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright,
One love, yeah?
Yeah, peace.
So.
There you go, London town. Unity is strength. Strength is power. We've got to come together. That's what it's all about, coming together. That's why Genesis is here. We're out to put the information out, but what we're also getting across to London town is unity in the community. That is what we need to build. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Can you hear me?
Yes, brother.
Yeah, this is Keith from Hackney.
Okay, Keith.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, yeah, I'm one of the brothers that won't be going to this meeting. And the reason for this is this. First of all, before we have marches, yeah, one of the problems that we seem to have in this country is that we organise these marches without finding out from the people if that is the people's will, if the people want to do that. The difference is when you're doing a comparison with what took place in America 2 years ago with the Million Man March. First of all, we found that was the people's will. They wanted to do that. And on the march, it was a call to black men, yeah? With this march, what people are doing in this country, it's primarily just a mixed march thing, yeah? And with a lot of these, with a lot of these organisations, what you're finding is that you may think we're marching for Stephen Lawrence, Roland Adams, or whatever, but we're fulfilling other people's political needs and political objectives. So you think you're marching for Stephen Lawrence and Roland Adams, and you're marching for some, other things like gay liberation and whatever, other things that are involved within these other people's private agendas. Now, this seems to be a big problem that we're facing when we try to do these marches. So you go down to these marches and you find that 99% of the people are not us. And the thing is, you've got to ask the people why it's not us. And I don't think it's because black people are lazy and they don't want to march for our people, but you've got to see who's putting these marches on and who are behind the marches and what are their own political agendas. And I think that's very important, something that really needs to be addressed. And also, on the theme of marching, you don't just march for the sake of marching. With this Million Man March, the people who primarily got the ball rolling, the Nation of Islam, normally they don't march, but they marched for a reason. They didn't march to beg white people to stop doing this and stop doing that to us. It was a march to black people, and it was a march for black people, and they were talking to black people and not to what they didn't care about what white people thought about it. And that was what was so dangerous and so powerful about that march. And that is why 2-3 years later we're still talking about it. We're still talking about the impact, and 5-10 years later the impact we're going to see we're going to be talking about it even much more. And that march, the Million Man March that took place in 95, when you compare it to the marches that took place in the 60s in America, it's going to overwhelm that, because those marches that took place in the 60s, although they started off as black marches, they ended up marching for all different other people and all other people's agendas, and people that came on the march hijacked the march. So another thing that we have to do when we're talking about march, we have to study marches that took place in the past and understand who were behind them, who jumped on the marches, who hijacked the marches, when you see these marches...
Let me just break up, Brethren. Keith, let me just ask you something there.
Yeah.
So, what are you saying overall as far as this march is concerned? Are you saying that you feel this march is a waste of time?
Am I saying this? Well, what we have to do is study the marches that took place in this country and analyze them and see if we progressed from them. Have we? That's the question. Yeah.
And from your own personal opinion, do you feel we've progressed? Do you think those marches have made a difference? The marches that's been held, you're talking in America as well. So,
I don't think the marches have in this country made much of a difference. I think what took place in America, as far as the Million Man March is concerned, I think it's having such a wide effect. It's even affecting us over in this country, and I think that's why today we're bringing up the issue of the Stephen Lawrence case, because I think now the powers that be and white people in general in this country are frightened that we may try to do the same thing over here. So they're almost getting prepared for us now. They're bringing it all up. They had the Stephen Lawrence family met Nelson Mandela, was it 2 years ago, yeah? And it was, it was in headline news in the newspaper, but still it didn't have that much of an effect. And I think most of the effect that these incidents are having now are really directly related to what is taking place in America at the moment. I think the people over here are scared that we're learning and we're seeing what is going over there, and we might mimic it and do the same thing here. And they're frightened that we may have an all-black march, whether it's man, female, or all together, but black. That's what they're afraid of. And mark my words, any march that you will see will involve mixing, yeah? And I know I want to get a few people phoning up after me and saying, well, what's wrong with that? Why shouldn't we mix? Why shouldn't we do it all together? No, the fact is we've got to get our house straight first. We've got to clean up the backyard first, and then we can go and clean up the front yard. But the thing is, too many of us at the moment want to mix things in and try to clean it up that way, and it's just not working. Yeah. We're finding that many of us are not going to these marches for that reason. When I first started going marches, a number of brothers and sisters said to me, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I didn't understand what they meant back in the days. I went and I did it. And today, now I understand exactly what they're talking about. Yeah, I'm not saying marching marching is wrong, but I'm saying we have to have a plan, an agenda, and it needs to come from the people as well and organized by the right type of people, and it needs to be from within our community and grown from it doesn't need to come from outside by the anti-Nazi League, the Socialist Workers' Party, the this black, white, unite and fight all that. We really do not need that. We need to learn, study these people, see where they're going. That's all, that's what I ask. Study and see what they're actually doing. Yeah?
All right then, Keith. Enough respect for that scene. A valid input still, yeah?
Okay, thank you
all
very
right,
much.
brother. Peace.
And goodbye to London Town.
All right, London Town, there you go. Keith. Boy, it seems like Hackney's definitely awake this Sunday afternoon. Okay, we're going to limit the calls to about 2 minutes now because we're into the last half hour. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Terry. I'm calling from around London still because I'm driving.
Yeah, Terry.
Still. Well, I like the vibe the man was calling a while ago and I talked about the march and having an agenda. So, before we go in any march, but I like to know so we have an agenda that suits all black people. All black people. So we actually know what we are march for. And to make no man hijack the march. For a long time, me I should have vibed the way. But you will still march. And so their agenda get taken care of. And ours never get taken care of. We fight for civil rights, even in America. And our needs never get taken care of, and gay people run through, and other people call themselves Jews, and them people they get through, and we never go through. So if you have a march, I better we have an agenda and a direction where we have to go as people. You get me? Because even as we talk about the March of March, what we should have, what we now call a carnival. See? So every year you have millions of black people going to this carnival, and it should have been a march demonstrating our rights as human beings, not to be molested or killed or fought against. I remember the march at the start when some skinhead attacked a man down at Notting Hill. I remember that. And Manley, one of the Prime Minister of Jamaica, was involved. That time he was our Prime Minister, but it was before theme time. So we have to when we have march, we have to have an agenda. And that march never takes place. Now we have it as a carnival. You hear me?
Yeah.
We have it as a carnival now. So when we see we have got a carnival and so much police there, they know why they did it. You get me?
Yeah.
So we have to have a march, a full march. No gay, no nothing. I just full march. Like the Million Man March. I just pure black man did it. So I just full march. A pure we did it. And we're powerful, and we see one another. And then so we know to start contribute some money and set up an economic base, which is power. Right, class. So then we have this carnival. I think so even if we have a march, we can put that march on the carnival day, because that was supposed to be a march for we. And it never go on. So I feel so in our generation now, not never change, and we come play a carnival, I play music and I jump up and wind up for people. See that as fun. And it wasn't no fun. It was our march. And people hijack it and turn it into a carnival. So I feel if we have a march, if we have it on that day there, and a remembrance to that march when it took place. And so things are going, I even know. Sorry, I can't talk so loud still, but I just so me feel.
All right, brother.
Stephen Lawrence and all of them things that take place, because that march never take place to show pure power.
Well, the only thing I can say to that, brethren, is, on the day when they have the meetings, that's the time then the people open their mouth and say what they have to say.
Well,
instead of just...
No, so other people who go to the meeting can say it too. You get me?
Yeah, for real.
All right. 2 minutes still, so easy, see?
All right then, brother.
All right, cool.
Peace. Okay, London Town, like I said, on the day when you go to the meeting, the 28th of this month, your voice, you make your voice heard. When have we had a time in this country where we can turn around and say we as black people have come together and it's just us and we've gone on a march? Think about it. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Helen again, Blackie.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking about not the guy who rang just now, but the one before that, about the marches. Yeah, we should know what's on the agenda and all that. I think black people should come out and march, and if the white people are going to get fined, that's up to them. But the white people have to realise that there's black British also. I was born in like Liverpool, so this is like black British. We do exist. We have to come out and say that as well, so all that can be in the agenda. And I agree with the last guy who called and said about the carnival march. I think that's a good idea.
Okay then, sis.
Okay.
Yeah, enough respect for that call.
All right.
All right, then,
Bye.
peace. Okay, London Town into the last section, and like I said, 2 minutes, please. Okay, you know the number, you know the flex. Good afternoon, caller. What's the name? Where you calling from? Hello? Hello? Okay. Caller decided against it. All right, you know the number. You know the flex. Like I said, 2 minutes, please. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good afternoon. It's Keith again from Ackley. Can I also say just one other point, yeah? The black churches, yeah, need to start to get involved more with what's going on in the black community, yeah? That's another thing with what took place in America. Not only was it the Nation of Islam, but the black churches played a major role in organizing, politicalizing, and spiritualizing black people to come on that march. The question's going out. Any black people in the churches, ministers, pastors, especially from the ministers and pastors, please tell me, what are you doing in involving black people and politicalizing your congregation in order to stand up for themselves, yeah, and stop turning the other cheek syndrome? What are you doing to get the people out and marching against these wicked, devious, devilish forces and people that are killing black people every single day? What are you doing?
Absolutely,
Stop
Keith.
that.
Enough respect for
That's
that.
going out to these people. Please
Yeah.
phone in and let London Town know what you're doing. If you want us in your churches, tell us what you're doing to protect the family. Yeah?
I will.
Because Jesus was a revolutionary. Peace.
Peace. A very good question, London Town. You know, anyone out there who goes to a church, part of a congregation, you know, that's a question which you have to ask yourself and the rest of your congregation. You know, like I said, it's times like in America they had the churches involved in the marches. Why shouldn't they contribute over here in the same way? I mean, quite a few of you who go out there, go to churches every Sunday and wonder why. Anyway, good afternoon, caller. What's the name? Where you calling from?
Yes, hello, I'm Sharon from Lewisham.
Hi, Sharon.
I'd just like to say that everyone who's saying they're against the march, that they should really go, because at the end of the day, we've got to set an example for our children.
Okay, Sharon, what do you think about the churches getting involved?
Well, this is what we need. We need everyone, not only just the churches, but everything. Everybody who's involved, who's got a professional, to get involved in all this, because unless we get together, we're not going to prove a point here. And the point we need to prove is that we're human beings and we need to treat it with respect.
Okay, then, enough respect for that call, Sharon. And you keep it locked.
Okay.
Peace. Okay, London Town. That's why I like them short and sweet. Coming to that last piece. We ain't got the senator be in there yet, but he'll be in there. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Your greetings.
Yeah.
Jeff here. Jeff from East London.
Okay, Jeff.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, if we were to go on a march again, yeah, we're going to have to make our people understand that if we were to take a day off work, yeah, we'd be actually donating to our own cause, because a lot of us are like money fools. Yeah, we would use money as an excuse to say, I can't do this, I'm going to have to go to work and have to get paid. But if we were to make our own people understand that if we were to take a day off work, yeah, to go to a march, yeah, it's like a actual donation back to our own community. So that's what we're going to have to teach our people that. Yeah?
Yep, for real, brethren. You keep it locked to the big one, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, then,
All right,
peace.
take care, peace.
There you go. Good point there from Jeff from East London. Telling you, definitely East London's wide awake. So South London, don't worry. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Jennifer from Scotland. Right? And with the marches, agree with what the other callers are saying about the agenda. But I think the government would take more notice of all the black people who stood up and said we're not voting for none of them until they come up with something that's going to sort out the situation.
Right.
You know, because they would feel it if all the black people stood up and we're not voting. You know, then they'd start running around and saying, boy, they need the black vote. You know, and they would have to come up with something.
But it's a case of actually, if you vote, is having something to negotiate with at the same time. You know, they want your
Well, that's
vote.
what, you know, I agree with them about the agenda. We need an agenda. You know, one party saying this, one group saying this. We all need to come together and get one agenda.
Right. So
of what we want and what we want from the government.
Okay, because in the week, if you notice it, there was a guy, if I'm correct, his name was Lee Sharp, and was it rounded up, was it 1 million votes or something like that?
Yeah.
Which he's basically going to be using as his bargaining tool, so to speak, to the governments to say, well, look here, this is us and this is what we want. I mean, don't you think like moving in that direction would be benefit to us as well?
Yeah.
I mean, to say, all right, it's okay to say not to vote, but at the end of the day, if you don't vote, you ain't going to get a say.
That's right. But I'm saying, well, we need to have an agenda. We can't have too many different people out there saying we should do this, we should do that. We need to come together and have one agenda and have something to bargain with.
Absolutely, sis. That's why I say, well, what I'd like London Town, of everyone who's phoning basically and those who know about it, you know, you go to the meeting and the same points that you're putting across to me is the same points you can put across to the meeting.
Yes, but we do that. We go to meeting, we have our say, we make our views, but at the end of the day, nothing changes.
Well, it's up to us to make the change, sis. That's all I can say, you know, it's up to us. We've got the will. That's all I know, is that we've got the will to make a change.
You know, we've been here from time, we've had the will, you know?
Yeah, but we've not done nothing with it, sis. That's the truth. We've not done nothing with it.
You know, because I know personally, I've been to marches, I've been to meetings, you know, but at the end of the day, nothing has changed.
Well,
you know, and you know all those people that come on the radio and get angry or whatever, because they sit there and they see, boy, at the end of the day, that's not doing any good. You know, they just say, no, let them have their march, let them have their meetings, they'll quiet down after that. You know, they're not taking us seriously.
Then, sis, all I can say is that as long as you do something which is better in the cause of us as black people, you know, if you don't feel to go on the march, then that's safe. But as long as at the end of the day, what you're doing within yourself, you know that it's benefiting us as black people at the end of the day, then, to me, then your reason's justified for you not going even to the meeting.
No, I do go to meetings. I do make my views known. But I'm saying that it's not down to each person. You know, we need everybody to come together. Everybody's out there looking after themselves.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
see,
and nothing's going to get achieved that way.
all right then, sis. Enough respect for that call still anyway.
All right.
All right then. Peace. What I was going to actually say is, see, all right, everyone's talking about people coming together and all right, we have to come together, but at the same time, if you coming on the radio and you're going to say, well, boy, I ain't going to go to the march or I ain't going to go to the meeting because I don't think it's a waste of time, put something in its place and say, well, look, here what? I'm doing this, which I feel will benefit us as black people in the long run. Because if you're talking about unity, you can't come on the radio and say you ain't going to meetings or marches. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello. My name's Mark. I was one of your original callers from earlier on today. What you just said there was virtually what I was calling you to say, because at the end of the day, I'm hearing a lot of people with different views. I'm hearing some people saying don't go to the march and blah, blah. You know what I mean? But the point is, at the end of the day, we've got to do something, yeah? We're not going to sit down on this. We're not going to sit down at home on this. The march is the option that is available to us. Let's use that option that is there. There is no other alternative at the moment. If you have other ideas, bring them forward to the meeting that you lot are talking about before the march and air your views. Yeah, don't just sit down at home and screw that march is this and march is that and me now got to know march, because, you understand, that ain't getting us nowhere. Bring your views, air your views. Let's hear your views, let's debate your views, and let's see where we can move forward. You understand? I am looking to go to that march. You understand? I am looking to go to that march, yeah? Because that is an avenue that is available to me. Look, I'm a man. I want blood. I want blood. But at the end of the day, I have to use my head. I know that in the long run, if we all go out there wrecking the place and rioting and things, who is going to lose in the long run?
That's
you
right.
know who is going to lose in the long run? I'll tell London Town who's going to lose in the long run. The black man is going to lose in the long run. Reason being, that is how they want you to react. They want you to react like an animal. That way, they can turn around and justify, well, look, these people are a bunch of animals. Let's cage them all up, you understand?
Yeah,
Let's cage them all up. Paul Condom come out with his statement about robbers, the highest percentage of robbers are young black males. That's how they want us to react. They want to be able to say, you see, I told you, these people are animals. Let's use our brain cells. If you have brain cells in your head, let's use our brain cells. You get me? Let's go to this march. Let's air our views. If it's riot you want, go to the march, air your view, and try and work out how you can bring your riot in a constructive way, if that's what you want to do.
For real.
But let's not act individually on this. Let us unite, black people. Let us unite. You get me?
Absolutely, Mark,
That is what I want to say. I'm one of your original callers, and I've been sitting there listening to this show, yeah, and listening to it develop. And we've got some people out there with some ideas, and one thing I'm pleased about with the show, I'm hearing a lot of people with a lot of fire in their belly. Let's bring that fire to the meeting.
Yeah.
Let's bring that fire to the march with passion. You get me?
Yeah.
And I heard something else, which I think is a very good idea that one man, I think it was a man who was driving, did say about having a march over carnival. And you know what? That is the best idea I've heard on this show today.
Yeah,
Do you know how much money is generated through carnival? It is our carnival, but them are make money from us.
Yeah.
If black people, can you imagine for a moment a carnival with no black people there?
Absolutely.
Huh? Can you imagine that for a moment? Labrador Grove, no black people there. Do you know how that is going to hit them in their pocket? That's how we have to start using our brain. We have to hit them economically. We have to hit them in all the avenues that are available to us. We have to use our noble. You get me?
For real.
And I must end the note there, but yeah, I've been listening to this show. This is a very good show. I've been listening to this, and I'm quite pleased with the fire that's in my people's belly, because this thing is burning me. This Stephen Lawrence thing is burning me.
Yeah.
You get me? It wasn't a member of my family, but I understand that point that do we have to wait for it to be our brother or our sister or our son? Do we have to wait for that? Let's get up. You get me?
Yeah. All right then, Mark. Enough respect for your call,
all
still,
right,
yeah?
bro.
All right, peace.
All right, go on, good.
Okay, London Town. See, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Use the resources available, you know, to try and get what your point across. And then if those don't work, do what you got to do, but make sure you know what you're going to do when you do it and what you're going to do after you've done it. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Afternoon. A previous caller again. The guy on the mobile that spoke about the agenda. If he don't come to meeting, I'll represent him and I will speak on his behalf, because that is really on point. I remember the Stephen Lawrence March. It was all gays. Gays there with their banners because they want their rights. And it's true, they ride on our backs and get their point across, and we don't. Another point again about the churches, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, it's good to have the churches out because they're probably the only black people in this country that's united. But when it's for them to come to a march and to get themselves involved with a march, they're going to say, oh, it's violence, so we don't want nothing to do with that, and it's against their God's will. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, they don't know that when God destroyed that place, what he calls Sodom and Gomorrah, that he came back with vengeance in his eyes, and it's the sword dripping with blood. He don't know that he destroyed that place in anger. So at the end of the day, really, when they're saying about they don't want violence, let them read that bit in the Bible. But it's good to get them out anyway, because they are united, and the more of us there is, the better. Okay?
All
As
right.
I said, I'll bring that point at the meeting that we just want, it's a black issue. When the white people then come across and said, oh, but we want to help, we just said, thanks, but it's a black issue. And it's good to have pure black faces there on the 9th of March because that will wake them up. You understand? That will stick out more in their minds.
Okay, then, sis.
All right.
Enough
Bye.
respect for your call. Peace. Like I said, London Town. Think back and remember, when can you say that we as black people have had a march and all you can see is pure black faces? Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. Seems like we're... Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, my name's Gary. I'm calling from the Oval.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to assess some of the different alternatives that, with regard to these issues. I think marching initially is okay, and it highlights the issue. But personally, I've been on a couple of marches, and after the event, unless there's some kind of disobedience or unrest, little is done, really and truly. You might get a little 2-minute snippet on the news at 10 or whatever, but to be quite honest, little is done. Little is achieved as far as I'm concerned. I think they're all right initially, but if we don't see any activity afterwards, then really we can't rely on them. I think another option is like political action. Now, if we look at like the politics of Britain, I mean, we've got people like even the Monster Raving Looney Party. Even they've got some form of representation. Where is the black representation? You understand me? It's no good relying on the Conservatives, Labour, or the Liberal Democrats. They've all got their own agendas. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if I saw Michael Howard on Newsnight in the week after the Stephen Lawrence affair. Now, this was something like 11 o'clock that Newsnight comes on. And he was asked categorically by the guy, will there be a public inquiry into Stephen Lawrence's death, blah, blah, blah. And he was sort of umming and ahhing, and then went on to say, well, he wasn't sure if it would add anything else, but he'd consider it. By the very next morning, I was listening to News Time Radio. This could have been about 10 o'clock in the morning. And he said categorically no, there was not going to be no public inquiry. Obviously, then people have got their own agenda. I think we need to have our own political organisation to represent our views. Whether or not we get any real power in Parliament is a different matter, but nevertheless, we should be able to have our own political organisation representing our own views. Don't rely on nobody else, because if we can't do it for ourselves, they're not going to do it for us. Disobedience. I think this is obviously civil disobedience. I think at the end of the day, anybody who knows anything really about law is supposed to represent the will of the people. The will of the people is not being represented. Then I personally, I'm not saying I will personally go out there and be smashing shop windows and what have you, but I personally can condone that, because at the end of the day, Parliament is supposed to represent the will of the people. We've been here for long enough. We pay our taxes like everybody else. We've got the power to vote like everybody else. And at the end of the day, if they're not representing our views, then boy, if we have to go on with a little civil disobedience, it may reinforce a few stereotypes, but at the same time, it highlights the issues. And a classic example of that, which people have previously mentioned, is the fact of the Lord Scarman report after the Brixton riots. I don't ever personally remember any investigation or any report after any march. I personally can't remember it at the end of the day. But basically, if the law does not represent us, then boy, we have to take steps to make the change in the law, either by political action or unlawful disobedience. And I think another alternative, which somebody mentioned to me a while back, and although he said it in a jovial fashion, I think really and truly is a valid idea, is that if black people were to take one day from work and strike, every black person who was able to strike one day and get together and organise a little meeting, or well, it wouldn't be a little meeting really, it'd be a mass meeting, and represent that we're not having it no more, you know what I mean? Take a strike, and that would hit people in the pocket, you understand? Because I mean, they've got black people down as being street muggers and all them kind of things there, but believe you and me, black people are hard set of working people. And believe you and me, if we all one day took one day off work to strike and say, oh, we're not having this in the future, we'd see that it would hit people in the pocket, and then people would start taking notice. Marches are okay as far as they go, but really we need something to sit up, make people sit up and say, listen, you know what I mean, we've had enough now. Because when you check Stephen Lawrence, I think it would be setting a dangerous precedent if it is allowed to go, if it's allowed to go on. Because I mean, it's not even to say the
guy was a deviant, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, even if somebody was a deviant and they die in police custody, it does not condone their death in the police custody. But this guy was an A-level student, you know what I mean? He would have been at university getting his degree. I myself am at university. He could have been my brethren, you know what I mean? Me and him could have been on the same course or whatever, you know what I mean? And to let a shining light like him go, and without nothing being done by the powers that be, I think would set a very dangerous precedent, because if somebody as bright and as intelligent as somebody like Stephen Lawrence can die and nothing's done, I mean, what hope for the rest of us, really and truly? I mean, who's gonna, you know what I mean? Who is gonna have to die before they say, all right, enough is enough? You know what I mean? We need to take our own the matters into our own hands, and I personally think it's either political action or civil disobedience, or possibly a national strike by black people one day, and that would certainly affect the economics of this country, and we'd really see what black people contribute.
Okay,
Yeah?
then, Bridget.
All right then, bro.
All right then, peace.
Sorry.
Okay, then, London Town, like I said, we still haven't got the arrival of the Senator B, but we're still going to make them short as possible. 2 minutes, please. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I'd just like to tell London Town, stop being negative, man. Come out of your house and come to the marches, because this is the only time we're going to get to unite. Let's be positive now. Put all the negative aside and come to the march. You talk about unite. This is the time to unite. This is the time. All right? Peace.
Peace. Okay, London Town. I think the phrase should be, come to the march anyway, but the support is really needed at the meeting. You know, if we know the same set of people who's coming to the meeting is going to be at the march, then, you know, our numbers, we know roughly can turn around and say to London Town, X amount of thousands was at the meeting. So we know that the march itself is going to be a lot more stronger. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello?
My name's Sandra from Lewisham. I'd just like to say that black people have got to think about themselves, yeah? They're out there fighting each other. Before they get together, unite and do something positive, they're out there all killing each other, gassing up clubs and doing stupidness like that. I think that people should get together, go to this march, do something positive and stop being foolish. Educate yourself. That is a message I'd like to put across. Thank you.
Enough respect, Sandra.
Okay.
Keep it locked to the big one. Okay, London Town, there you go. Like I said, into a little bit of overtime, but that's no problem. Get slightly more time to hear your views. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday.
All right, enough respect, sister. Oh, at the commissioner in the background, they're doing a bit of harmony. Well, London Town, serious things. You know, if we come together, we most definitely shall overcome whatever is in our way. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Big up to the sister that just sang there.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just touched me.
Yeah,
big
yeah.
up, respect. Big up the commissioner in the house, and big up all the Genesis crew. It's all good. Good night. Peace.
Peace. Okay, London Town. Like I said, you know, it's not very often we get a bit overtime, but glad for it the same way. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sister that just sang there. We should hold hands together on the 9th of March, and we should sing that song all the way to Darling Street. Good on you, sister. Respect. Bye.
Peace. All right, London Town. Got to definitely emphasize the meeting is at the Brixton Town Hall on the 28th of February. It's a Friday. The time is 7:30. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
We have been overcome. Peace.
Okay. 0956407515 gets you through and across London Town. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sorry, I didn't say who was singing that song. It was me, Janet from Hackney.
Okay, Janet. All right, Janet. Oh, yes. Yo, just I said, happening well awake, man, I tell you. Good up. Hello. Good afternoon, caller. Oh, we seem to have lost that caller. No problem. 0956-407-515. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, driver.
Yeah.
Clive from Battersea.
Yeah, Clive.
Yeah, just bringing in a couple of points just to clarify a few things that were said earlier. Lee Jasper was the name that you was trying to think of.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The New Cross March, back in, 81?
Yeah.
That was a black team. Yeah, I think that was the last time that was, you could say that was 90% black people on that march.
Yeah.
Yeah?
But we want 100%.
Yeah, well, let's try for that still. But
that's
since
what
then,
want.
we ain't had nothing like that, you know what I mean?
But I'm saying this is an opportunity where we can have that.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah?
Hmm. And one other point.
Yeah.
A lady called up earlier and she was saying about not voting, and that would get the attention of the politician.
Yeah.
I disagree with that because I feel that if you don't vote, that's fine by them. If you decide to vote, but you're not voting in the direction that they want, then that is the time that they're going to sit up. You know what I mean? If you're showing them that you're going to be voting in a different direction, that is the time that they're going to sit up and take attention. But if you decide en masse while in our ward as a protest, then they're going to love that because they're not relying on our vote in that respect. And that's all I have to say, yeah?
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
All right, brother.
All right, peace.
Peace. Okay, London Town, we've got the Senator B inside the studio and it's graciously giving us a few more minutes while he sorts himself out. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Andy Morris from Brixton again. In 30 seconds or less, let me say this. Janet, thank you. That was marvellous. You've got a wicked voice. Please be there on the 28th. And the brother who suggested that we hold hands and sing that song, that is an idea, and bring that to the arena, and I hope that's something we do on the 28th. Peace.
Peace. Okay, London Town. Just a couple more calls before we call the show to an end. Beg your press out from the Senator. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Spartacus calling from Brixton.
Yes, Spartacus.
Good afternoon. I'd like to make a couple of comments.
They've got to be short, Spartacus.
Yes, I know that. Number one, we have to get to the point where we recognize that there's a war going on. And we have to take an example from some of our brethren who, during the late 50s, did some very serious work in the Ladbroke Grove, Shepherd's Bush, Notting Hill area. When we were being attacked by the European youths, they didn't go out and march. They didn't complain to Westminster. What they did was they went out and took 2 out for 1. That is what the message is. The solution to the problem is not marching. Although I would say everyone who wants to march, if they think that is the best they can do for our benefit, then let them go out and do so. And I would support them in doing so. But the solution to the problem is to recognize that there's a war going on and fight the war on every single level possible.
Okay, enough respect for that, Spartacus.
Thank you.
Okay, London Town, we've got time to take one more quick call and then we're definitely going to call it an afternoon session. Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rose. My name's Rose. I'd just like to agree with the Spartacus on what he just said. It is a war, and we have to be ready to stand up and fight this war. It is a war. Please.
Okay, that's most definitely it. And okay, London Town. We've got the Senator B in the studio, ready and rearing to go. Once again, got to thank everyone for the calls and everyone who participated in the show. And don't forget, the People's Talk Show is here each and every Sunday between the hours of 11 and 2. Don't forget, we've got our educational shows which run during the week between the hours of 3 and 5. Also, you got the OG Briggy later on tonight, and should have the Andy Morris inside the studio. Anyway, that's me. I'm out of here. London Town. Peace.